What's going on, everybody? This is Royal Dude Lorenzo, and we are back for our holiday season extravaganza. Yo, what's good, everybody?
Suddenly became Joey Wheeler there.
How's everybody doing?
Hey, you!
Oh, right. I forgot. I keep doing.
You got the
forgetting-
Celtic Guardian!
I keep forgetting to do my intro. I'm
Sword
the
and
Blue
shield.
Squid. I'm the Blue Squid here on the Inkling Brothers podcast. I'm turning it over to my person on the left.
How do you know he's on the left?
On the right.
We're in like our separate apartments and everything.
I'm turning
My
it
name,
over.
my name is Ray, also known as Meatloaf Man. I am the Purple Squid here on the Inkling Brothers podcast.
And I'm Eric.
Hot.
Okay.
Kunao Jane.
Kunao and Chain. Alright. How's
Sword,
everybody
shield,
doing?
and sword.
Everyone doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing alright.
Oh, we have to talk about something. So you might notice on the the little title down below.
If
or
you're listening
wherever,
to this
you know.
during its release time,
Yeah, so you might notice that we're missing a number. What happened was, I decided it was just, Craig has been a great asset to have. But unfortunately, Craig decided that it was a good idea to scrub our data, a lot of it, from the last podcast, and so we sound like Willy Wonka and his gang of Oompa Loompas.
The amazing chocolatier?
Yes.
and as a result, we got nothing.
we have lost.
You lose! We lose, sir!
And it wasn't a good day for us.
The only thing that we can do is we can recover the audio. I mean, we can
Attempt
re-edit the
to.
audio over
Yeah.
the course of many months and maybe a year. Meaning this episode is probably going to be lost media at this point. And so we will.
We're gonna have our own, like, thing.
We'll eventually be
wiki.
putting it out, but at this point in time, it's gone. It's dead.
It was out for like a little bit of time, for like maybe like an hour or
2
two.
seconds, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not
you know.
not 2 seconds. It was like out for a considerable amount of time on the initial upload
So
day.
if you ended up catching it,
but
good job.
we did not advertise it. But like we listened to the episode and we thought it wasn't like suitable to put out, so we took it down. It's still on our channel, like unlisted, but for now we're just not going to make it available until we can find a solution to try and see if we could fix the episode up.
And
Yeah,
I'd like
so
to
for
make
now,
it-
it's considered a lost episode.
I'd like to make it
Yeah.
very clear that nothing problematic happened in that episode.
Yeah, we didn't discuss anything controversial, for the record,
Actually, what happened is I gave away my social security number, so we had to take it down.
and we didn't bother to cut it out.
They're like, hey, Eric, it's fine.
Yeah, so we just decided that it's probably just a good idea for now, just to like leave it off, and then I'll try to edit it, and eventually we'll release it in the future. There's some information that's dated, so we're just going to maybe talk about that information now. It's not a lot, but let's.
Well, for one, the elections are over, so.
Oh, well, I guess one thing to mention in regards to the whole episode 34 thing.
But I will say, please go out and vote no matter what.
Yeah?
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
live in
it's our-
Georgia, go
December?
vote.
Yeah.
Just to be
th-
safe, go out and vote right now, even though it's December and the election's over.
Yeah. If you're
Uh,
listening to this if you're listening to this past episode in the future, go out and vote if it's time to vote.
Yeah,
But,
for-
I mean, if it's 2022 and it's midterm elections,
2
then yeah,
years
sure,
from
go out and vote. But,
Yeah.
and obviously always vote for local stuff like mayor and all that, because that affects you the most.
That shit's important too.
But what I was going to say in regards to episode 34 is that, like Lauren said, nothing problematic happened. We didn't accidentally leak any information or whatever. Although it is kind of a shame that the episode's lost, because we all enjoyed it, because
Talked about
that
a lot of good
episode,
shit.
I mean, most of the episode was us talking about waifus and childhood crushes. That's why we enjoyed it, because we're like, yo, you know who... You know who made me so horny?
Oh my
This
God.
chick.
Jesus Christ.
That's how it based. I mean, that's obviously not what we said, but yeah.
You gotta wait over a year to find out what we really said.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise.
Um,
Lawrence mentions corn somewhere in there.
Yeah, you know.
You know, just to give a sneak preview.
Yeah, of course.
we talk about the Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh wives, all the classics.
Yep.
But yeah, you know, things happened. But actually, though,
You have to say it that way.
Things happen.
Well, yeah, things. You know, to be honest, though, things happen. You know, we can't really control some of that stuff, and so you know, we do what we will, and we try our best.
We also
Right.
did make distinctions for the ones that were like at the time they were a childhood crush, but obviously since we're older and they're not aging, it's not really a thing anymore. But yeah.
Come on, man, what you talking? Okay.
What? What? He suddenly started laughing. What are you laughing about?
No, I was like, oh, come on, man, what you talking about? No, I'm kidding though.
Oh, I didn't hear you. You must have gotten cut out then.
But yeah, that happened. Things are okay
But yeah.
though.
That's the status on that episode.
Yeah. So you know, look forward to it. Hopefully at some point.
A year from now.
Yeah. You know, in the far future.
2029.
You know, when I have time, we'll see.
2035.
2099.
Oh my god, will we even be alive at that point?
No. But yeah. So that is what's happening with episode 34. Go ahead and check that out when it comes out eventually in the future. But here's some information, some stuff that we talked about last time, besides voting, that you guys can think about now from that last episode. So, a couple things. We talked about how Nintendo doesn't really give a shit about their Joy-Cons, so that happened, and I went on a 40-minute rant on it. You know.
Of course he did.
Yeah. Steve from Minecraft is in Smash, and Minecraft has gotten a huge revival actually in the past few months. It seems like a lot of people are playing Minecraft. So
Well, I mean, didn't it just recently get updated?
I think so, yeah. That's probably why. The Vita, which we can even talk about later, but the old PlayStation Store is gone from, you know, it's not accessible in certain devices. So it kind of sucks. And then we'll talk about later how the Vita, how Sony can eat a pile of dog shit. But yeah. Did we leave anything out? Did I leave anything out? Are there things I'm missing? Oh yeah, Wonder Woman 1984 is coming out in about 2 weeks. It's gonna be 3 weeks actually. It's gonna be on HBO Max, so we'll all watch it and hopefully give you all a review.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we should watch that.
Yeah. Let me think of other things. The Fresh Prince reunion is out. Came out a couple weeks ago. If you guys like The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I highly recommend to go watch it. It's very, very lovely, very nice. Enjoyed it. Lots of things on HBO Max. You know, things are going well all over there. Yeah. We have.
Oh, and there's also I don't know if you just said it, but Animaniacs just came out on Hulu.
Yeah, Animaniacs.
They're
is on
back.
Hulu.
And
I
it's
have been
really good.
enjoying that. It's really good. It's my happy place show, so you know it makes a lot of sense. It's fun.
One of the most faithful returns to like television.
Thank you, Steven Spielberg.
And all the new people on there that know the material they're working with.
Yeah.
It's clear that like everyone who's on there is either someone who was experienced with the show and is also a fan of the previous show. So
yeah, so if you have time, definitely go check it out. I've been enjoying it. I think I know Ray has been enjoying it too. Eric has yet to watch it.
Hell yeah.
He should. So he will. He'll enjoy it too. Right,
Sure.
Eric?
Let's go with that.
Did you not like the Animaniacs?
No, I'm kidding. I love the Animaniacs. I don't know that you actually believe that. Jesus.
yo, it turns into the iCarly Fred episode.
Oh my
I don't think the
god.
Animaniacs
No,
were that
no.
funny.
All right, at that point, it would make sense for people to hate me and want me dead.
God.
But no, I
They're
love the
funny.
Animaniacs. Yeah, because at least the Animaniacs is funny, unlike Fred, which was never funny.
You don't
But,
like Fred?
No disrespect to Lucas something, the guy behind
Lucas
it though.
Cruikshank.
Yeah, but the guy made his money, so can't really fault him. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Animaniacs yet, but I heard great things. The most I've seen from it, honestly, is the meme going around, like where they try
With
to
the
make it
intro?
rhyme with the intro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I put out one of those too the other day
Oh,
with
really?
it was like
Animaney,
Animaney-totally
totally
insaney.
insaney.
You know,
But why do you call him Cheney? Animaney?
Yeah.
you know, it's funny because the thing is, they do that all. They've done that all the time. They've done that, I think, even in the original cartoon.
Yeah, in the
And
original, it was a running gag.
No one really made it like. No one joked about it much back then, but now everyone's
Now
like,
that it's relevant again.
It's time. They said it's time now.
Yeah.
It's been fun. I mean, I'll just be honest. The first episode, like, they pulled no stops. I mean, the show was written in 2018, so you
Yep.
know, literally just the first like 10 minutes of it pulls zero stops. They do not care. They're just like, nah, fuck it. We're gonna like make jokes about
Pulling no
Donald
punches.
Trump. We're gonna make jokes about how we almost went to World War III. How they're gonna make jokes about every single thing that's happened in the last 20 years since they've been on the
Isn't it more like 30? Because wasn't Animaniacs in the 90s?
21 years, I think. 1999? What was it? Right?
Are you sure? I thought it was early 90s. Am I just going crazy?
No, I think it's early. It's around. I can. Come on, I think it's 21 years. Yeah,
99?
1998. That's the last time they came on. Yeah, so that because they mentioned.
Oh,
they
that's
said
not
it's
some.
been-
Okay, I thought I was saying when they aired.
Oh no, yeah, that was in.
Yeah, it was 1993. At
Yeah.
the time, Bill Clinton was president.
Yeah, and then they made a joke.
Which is why they
how
those jokes, yeah.
They got George W. Bush and like 9/11 and whatnot happened in between then, and then they talked about how George W. Bush won the election because of the whole Al Gore thing.
Florida.
Yeah, they literally made the joke about that, about one hanging Chad. They joked about Obama a little bit. They also joked about how we got Donald Trump and whatnot. It was it was really funny. It honestly was like it's within the first 10 minutes, and they make a lot of jokes about that throughout. Like there was a sometime later, like they made a joke about how there's like a sea monster or something like that. It ends up it's a cyclops. No, it's a cyclops, and it ends up looking exactly like Donald Trump. It's just so funny.
It sounds like him too.
Yeah, it's so bad, but also like so good.
I feel like that's an upgrade with his looks then.
But yeah, it's honestly really good. But yeah, they make the reason I brought up, I said it was 21 years, is because they brought up how they bring up in the show how it's been 21 years, and so that's why I just kind of immediately jumped to it's been 21 years. So yeah, it has been 21 years since they last.
Yeah.
showed
Since
up.
the last time they aired an episode.
Yeah.
There was a funny little, like, I guess, Easter egg of sorts where in the scene where, like, Yakko is catching up with, like, everything that happened in the past, like, 20 years, you can quickly see, like, a Macy SpongeBob balloon from like, the parade. And I find that funny because I feel like, low-key, that was kind of their way of, like, oh, yeah, SpongeBob was a thing, but they didn't want to ask Nickelodeon to use, like, an image or anything, so they just pulled, like, an image taken from the Macy's parade of SpongeBob.
Oh yeah.
Because why would they not use any other balloon, like, if they were going for, like, unless they were going for SpongeBob himself?
Yeah, it's honestly like really good. They had that issue with the episode 6 in there. But,
Right,
if you guys end up looking up what happened with episode 6 and why there's just a blue screen at one point, just don't call that number.
I heard about this.
Don't do it.
Yeah. It's funny because this wasn't even reported, but like I literally Googled it out of curiosity, and I saw like, and these are things from like that predate the Animaniacs return even being announced. People called that number and then it wouldn't stop calling them back. So that's when I took to Twitter and I retweeted it with the quotes like, yeah, please don't call this number. From the research I found, like, don't even call it for fun because it will not stop calling you back, even if you try to blacklist it.
That's honestly so weird. Like, I don't understand how that like I'm sure they're using like a text now number or something like
Yeah.
that to just keep on generating this like different phone numbers and calling that same number.
It's like the tech support scammers.
Yeah, I was just watching one of them earlier about how like this guy who's doing like an escort service, not the same kind of escort. It's like actually like
Escorts?
it's like where you drive a limousine and stuff like that. But anyways, this guy pretty much keeps every time he gets a new driver, he's scamming them out of like $900 or whatever. He changes his number each time and he runs the same exact ad and everything like it's actually really funny, but I enjoy watching a lot of that stuff just to see like I like to see what kind of tricks they pull so that whenever I get a call from these people or whatever, I can see what they're trying to say. But I mean, as of recently, the only spam calls I've been getting have been coming from Chinese numbers. That's honestly the only calls I've been getting. Like the person speaking Chinese, and I asked one of my friends who speaks Chinese what the hell they're saying, and they're saying it's all about like your vehicle. Like they want your vehicle or whatever. Yeah, they're like this is an important call for for the vehicle owner, and I'm just like I don't even drive.
I don't drive.
I don't even have a license. So what are you asking from me? But yeah, there's that. Oh yeah, now that that's over.
Sir, that's my wife.
Have you guys been?
I've been good.
Same.
I was sick for like a week. I don't think it was corona, thankfully. I think it was just a cold. But I'm fine now. School's wrapping up. I already finished my case seminar, so I don't have to worry about that. And my other class that I'm taking, we have a final project that we have to do, and it's due on the 16th of December. I still need to find a data set for it though. But that shouldn't be too bad, I guess. Especially because I'll probably just reuse a bunch of the code I used for my homework assignments. But yeah, school's wrapping up. Work is going fine. I was sick for a while, but I'm fine now. And that's that for me. Nothing crazy because I'm still mostly inside majority of the time.
That's cool. By the way, happy belated birthday.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's one of the
yeah.
topics here. Even it was
Well,
my
more
birthday,
so-
late October.
Birthday.
One of the points I did, want to bring up, especially for consistency, because we also announced my birthday and Lawrence's birthday, so I thought, even though we didn't have a podcast in November, we should probably acknowledge that Eric did recently have his birthday, so happy belated, my dude. Hope you had a good one.
Yeah, it went well, I think, as well as it could, being stuck inside majority of the time. I'm 24 now, so there's that. I
Yeet.
feel so old, even though I'm only in
I
my
feel you.
mid-20s, so I don't know how to feel about that.
It's such a weird fucking feeling, dude.
Yeah, I'm like, man, 10 years ago, I was in high school. What the fuck?
What the fuck?
How did all that time just fly by like it was
Fucking-
nothing?
10 years ago, they were still airing new episodes of iCarly.
Oh my god, you're right! There's so many things that just makes me feel old, and I saw this year, we might have talked about the Victorious reunion one, but I also saw there was a reunion for that Disney Channel sitcom, Sunny with a Chance, which I did watch a fair amount of when I was
Same,
young.
yeah.
And I saw that there was a reunion for it, just like Victorious, and I'm like, no, there's no way it's been that
It's not
long.
that old.
Wait,
No! Sunny with a Chance, the
Oh
one with
my
Demi
God.
Lovato?
Demi Lovato.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That one was honestly better than the Victorious reunion. I mean, I love the Victorious and all that. All those old sitcoms are like nostalgic comfort food. I'm not gonna act like they're upper echelon Hollywood filmmaking or TV show making,
It
but
doesn't
like,
get you better than this.
yeah, but like, it's nostalgic comfort food for me. What can I say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Sunny with the Chance reunion was honestly better because they talked for like half an hour, like all of them, about a bunch of stuff. And I kind of wish the Victorious reunion was like that. It was literally like 2 minutes, just sort of like, "Hey, we love you guys. Stay safe. 10 years of Victorious," or "Woo!" And I'm like, man, couldn't you all just sit down and talk a tiny bit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
like, maybe
Ariana's busy, but like, damn.
talk
Well,
about how
you
your
know.
show wasn't fucking finished.
The Fresh Prince reunion got a whole hour and almost an hour and a half. Pretty
Yeah.
much.
I mean, in all fairness, Fresh Prince is basically iconic as fuck. So it would have been treason if they were like, let's just do 10 minutes.
2 minutes on HBO Max.
It's their 30th anniversary, so it's like, yeah, they should probably like, do a
At
big
least-
thing.
1 hour, yeah.
Yeah, but Sunny with a Chance. Anyone who was a fan of that show, there's a reunion up on YouTube. Just search Sunny with a Chance reunion. You'll see the cast members talking and all that, just sort of catching up and talking about the show, confirming certain things, like this is what would have happened if it continued, and all that.
I need to watch it. This is the first time I'm hearing about this, to be honest with you.
I appreciate.
Me and Ray talked about it in our group chat.
I've been dying for the last.
All right, fine. Sorry. Look, all right. Gee, sorry, Ray. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, I appreciate when like cast members and people who worked on the show, like for any show, do that. Like they talk about like, because obviously there's no way the show's gonna come back, at least as far as we're aware. At least, and especially not in the
Demi
same
Lovato
quality or
ain't working
state
with
that,
Disney anytime soon, so.
So I appreciate getting to know like, oh, what would have been if it continued airing, or like, you know, stuff they had planned but never panned out. Like I love hearing shit about like stuff like that.
Same.
I'm a sucker for trivia.
But yeah, I need to take a look at this. But I hope it's I'm glad that they actually did come together. I actually really like Sunny with a Chance. I think that was one of the last shows that I.
One of the last decent shows from Disney, yeah.
Yeah, same. That was one of the last Disney Channel sitcoms I actually followed regularly.
Yeah, that one. I followed most of Wizards. I didn't really watch the last season.
Wizards was great, yeah.
I watched a lot of Wizards. Part of that's because Selena Gomez was hot.
Yep.
Sunny with Demi Lovato also.
Very, very attractive. Yeah.
Very attractive.
Who the fuck did not watch Zack and Cody? That was the Drake and Josh equivalent.
That was Drake and Josh for Disney Channel. I watched both the hotel one and the ship one.
Sweet Life on Deck.
Most of Sweet Life on Deck.
I never saw the movie. I don't think.
I didn't watch the.
I haven't seen the movie.
Yeah,
I never saw the movie. I think it was a Disney Channel original movie. Never saw it, but I saw the show.
Yeah, I remember the crossovers, of course.
Yep, all the crossovers. What else was there for Disney Channel? I'm trying to think. What was the last one I followed? I think the last one I followed that was like the latest was Shake It Up, but I didn't even like it all that much. I didn't really even like it all that much. I just watched it because we mentioned this before. Yeah, just for the two girls that were in there. I thought they were pretty, so I was just like, I'll watch it for them.
Zendaya's I don't know if you watched Euphoria, but it's also on HBO Max. But I heard it's really good. I don't know, like. I haven't watched it personally, but that's just what I've heard from people, that it's really good. And Zendaya's on there.
Yeah.
But, she's been doing big things since she left Disney. I think she made a good move by, like, leaving kind of after her first breakout role on Disney.
She's in the MCU.
She is? I forget. She is?
Wait.
Yeah, she's MJ in Spider-Man.
Are you kidding me?
I'm an idiot.
Are you kidding? It's like, oh man, yeah, she's done some big things, and we're like, yeah, like the obvious one, and Lawrence is just like cricket, like what are you talking about? It's like she's literally MJ.
Oh.
It's like Eric, in video games where it's like the 3 ellipses and then an exclamation point.
Yeah. That's exactly it. Lawrence like had a brain blast moment. It's like, oh, I remember now.
Brain blast.
But yeah, Shake It Up. I can barely remember anything from Shake It Up. But
same.
But Zendaya and Bella Thorne were very pretty. Shame on what Thorne did in regards to OnlyFans though. That was messed up.
That was horrible.
That was very messed up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be honest, like Bella Thorne was hot, but like honestly, she definitely I respected her for a lot of, like, most of that time until I found out that she's just another, like, Hollywood celebrity, essentially. And so when she did what she did, I was like, nah, man, I'm out. Zendaya, you take my.
When that happened, we were all
Zendaya.
like, Zendaya was hotter and Shake It Up anyway.
Hey, you're not wrong, man.
Yeah, I feel like you can legitimately argue that.
Yeah,
No,
we,
but
we
yeah.
were we were clearly very horny teenagers, but
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
we were at least their ages when that show aired. So
I mean, yeah, like in all fairness, we're around their age, so it's fine.
yeah,
It's okay to talk about this.
it's so weird because like now with her like playing MJ in MCU, like her character's in high school, so she's like much older than that role.
Oh yeah, that's true. She's in like her mid-20s, like us, so it's like interesting.
Yeah.
You never got out of that high school from Shake It Up, I guess. Like I've been held back for so long.
Or maybe she got really smart and she just transferred to New York.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
In fact, I think she is literally our age, or at least me and Ray's age. Ray, you're 24 as well, right?
Yeah, I think she was 96, I believe. Hang on.
Yeah, I'm
It
pretty
was
sure she was
Zendaya?
96,
Yeah, yeah.
just like us.
Zendaya. I'm looking up on Wikipedia right now.
So, okay.
Yep, September 1st, 1996, literally one exact month after me.
And so you're older than her.
By a month.
How do you feel,
And-
Ray?
What do you mean, how do you feel?
How
No
do you feel
comments.
that I hate you.
Oh man.
Yeah,
But
you know,
she's
it
been doing
was
good.
Yeah.
I appreciate what she's doing, including Euphoria, and
I
else did
swear
she- what else did she
Euphoria
do?
is the name of a VN, so whenever you say that, I keep thinking Zendaya is in a visual novel. Oh my god, that's incredible.
What else did she do? Oh, Spider-Man. Duh.
Oh my god, really?
Oops. Yeah. Honestly, I'm like that. I'm glad that she.
Spider-Man, who's that?
I'm just imagining like us walking out of Homecoming or Far From Home, and Lawrence is
Who
like,
was that nice guy?
and he's like, "Who was that?" And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, who's
Who was
that?
that, Superman?
Girl?
That was Lois Lane, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, speaking of.
So what do you mean? Speaking of,
Speaking
Speaking
of
of
Superman,
Lois Lane.
I watched all of the DCEU.
you watched
Oh.
all of it?
Yes.
Yeah, he caught up. He told me this.
I did.
Oh my god,
And,
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I am
All right,
sorry
Lawrence,
for myself too.
what are your thoughts?
Okay.
Oh
Here
boy,
goes.
he's getting ready. He's clapping. That's
Okay.
how.
So,
All right, relax. You don't need to keep clapping.
That was me. Sorry.
Okay.
wait. Okay.
I thought he was like continuously.
Okay.
My bad.
Okay.
My bad. Go ahead,
So
go ahead.
first Superman film, was okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't really have much to say about that.
Oh really? I fucking hated it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great, but like it was.
I think it's better than some of the stuff that came after it for sure. But
Yeah,
oof.
that's kind of what I said. And then, anyways, Batman versus Superman was questionable a lot of times. Shout out to Isaac for getting me the DVD that I so graciously placed into my PS4 and then had to give it CPU. It was interesting to say the least. I mean, there was just okay. First off, here's my first thing: Lex Luthor acted more like the Joker or the Riddler than he did Lex Luthor.
Yeah, even Nostalgia Critic made fun of that in his review.
Lex Luthor is not like that. If you've ever read a comic, Lex Luthor is not like some comedic genius. He is a scientific mastermind. Essentially, Jeff Bezos as a
As a
criminal.
supervillain. Oh
Yeah.
wait, what's the difference?
Oh yeah, you're right. But actually, though, it just really bugs me that like they really characterized Lex Luthor wrong. And I remember they even showed I remember some of the posters that were coming out back in the day when they pretty much pulled a Joker like back how when Dark Knight came out they had a picture of Joker and like he was looking through a playing card on some of the movie posters.
Sure.
They did a similar thing with Lex Luthor, and it was just his face, like looking up at the sky or something like that. With Jesse Eisenberg, I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, for the character they gave him, he did a good job. Jesse Eisenberg did.
I'll
You know,
say that I think he's probably the best actor in the
yeah, as
movie,
an
in the
actor,
sense
he
that
did a
it
good
looked like
job.
he was having the most fun
Yeah, yeah,
with it.
exactly. I did.
But then
I
that's
did
also the
appreciate that.
problem.
But that's the
I
problem.
feel like, all right, look, I just find it interesting that you're like, yeah, so they really got some characters wrong, but you're focusing on Lex Luthor, and I'm like, I feel like there's two very
Oh
big
yeah, I mean
examples
obviously
of getting
Batman
the
and
characters
like
wrong.
obviously Batman and Superman. I don't like the fact what they did with Batman and Superman at all. I did, you know, again, Ben Affleck as Batman, amazing, good job. But
I mean, he's fine with the material they
yeah,
give him.
they
It's just
get
that
yeah,
the
exactly
material is not
trash.
good.
And
I don't blame Ben Affleck at all for
Like,
like
I
his,
don't
you know,
blame, I
in
don't blame
each
Affleck. I don't blame Cavill at
the
all,
thing
really.
about Superman and Superman in all three of the first three movies, you know, is can we please get over this idea that Superman can be evil? Like this is just like
yeah.
I
there are
I'm
more
really
stories. There are more stories. The stories in Superman are not all about him being evil and people not trusting him. There are
It's
good
not even that.
stories. There are
It's
good
not even.
stories. Sorry.
Oh my God! Relax, Jesus. It's not even that there's more story. There's very little stories where they portray him as a villain or as like this
Yeah.
weird like sociopathic alien. It feels more of a recent trend because one of the things that's wrong with the DCEU stuff is the blatant mischaracterization of Batman and Superman. With Superman, he is a god in terms of its ability, sure, but he was raised on Earth. Like he is human. He loves the human race so much. He is not like I always hate two depictions of Superman. I hate when they try to portray him as this sociopathic alien that thinks he's above everyone else. Because no, he doesn't think he's above anyone.
Yeah.
And I also hate when they treat him like in Dark Knight Returns, where he's basically just a lapdog for the government.
Yeah.
I hate that too.
yeah.
In reality, he's a really kind, loving person. And of course, with DCU, it's like, oh man, we can't have that. So they make him like so weird. I mean, obviously, it's not subtle at all. They basically try to make him Jesus. There's so much
Yeah.
blatant symbolism in those movies to
Yeah,
like, look,
seriously.
see, he's Jesus. And I'm like,
Superman
okay.
Christ.
And yeah, like Superman is just bad in those movies. And
People
Batman,
don't really get Superman
they
nowadays.
really don't. Like, it feels like barely anyone does, which sucks because there's plenty of great Superman stories
Yeah.
out there.
That's
But
exactly
Oh,
what I'm
yeah.
saying. Like there are so many good, like really good stories out there, and why do you have to choose the one where he's portrayed as a villain or some sort of god-like figure? You know, like this is just not. There are so many better. And also, let's just be fucking honest. Why do you need to call the movie Batman versus Superman? We all know.
Well, I mean, because that's what it is.
Well, but we all
Well,
fucking
also-
know that Superman, if he really tried, could literally rip Batman in half. Let's just
Well, I
be
mean,
honest with that.
That movie was
Even,
very
yeah.
much taking from Dark Knight Returns. And in case you forgot, Frank Miller hates Superman. That's why Superman is so badly written in that comic. Zack Snyder, also you can very much tell, does not like Superman, which is why he portrays him the way he does. But yeah, what were you going to say, Ray?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you know, the whole thing with it being called Batman versus Superman on top of that is also like just getting people into their seats because they're always excited for the concept of, yo, Batman and Superman are about to fuck each other up, and Batman's probably gonna win because he's a human and he's fucking Batman and he's smart.
Yeah,
like-
seriously.
Like, be real. Like,
Oh, God.
that is literally, for the non-comic book fans, that is the general audience mindset that people have going into this movie.
The other thing, Batman, he's portrayed pretty badly too.
Yeah.
Because of course, there is like basically an unwritten rule with Batman at this point where it's like he's not allowed to kill, he's not allowed to use guns, and, shit like that.
Fucking Zack
So
Snyder.
and then Zack Snyder, and I don't give a shit that it was a dream sequence. It still doesn't make sense at all that Batman would even dream of something like that, where he's just going on a rampage, just shooting people and
Oh yeah,
blatantly
I
killing
remember
them.
that. I remember that. I was like, what? This is not.
It just
no, not even
like
Just
Batman
because
is
it didn't
basically
actually happen doesn't make it wrong.
See, and that's
Batman
the
is
problem.
basically a sociopath just as much as Superman is.
And see,
And it's so weird too because all right, sorry, you go first.
Yeah. So and see, that's the problem, right? Like they all like sure, I get that. You know, Bruce Wayne is some rich guy, right? Obviously, we know that. But if you see the way that like he's just like, yeah, I just bought that building. I'm like, what? I know he might do that maybe as a joke, but like it's just ridiculous at that point. He's like, yeah, I just bought that building, so you know we're okay. And I'm like, huh? And then later on, when you're right with the dream sequence, like come on, even Scarecrow's like dream sequences were never that bad.
You know what Scarecrow shows Batman? Stuff like his parents' death.
Yeah.
You know, that is something that he would legitimately have nightmares of. That is something he would dream of. And God, and I just love the whole conflict of the movie makes no sense because Batman's mad at Superman because he's like Superman is like a menace in the sense that it's like yeah he's blatantly killing people, and you know what, at first you're like he's not wrong. I mean one of the problems with Man of Steel is that the destruction in that movie is apocalyptic.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, bro, what the fuck? Metropolis is done. That city is out of the map at that point.
Like that shit's not even getting repaired in 2 years.
Yo,
like it's
yeah.
gonna take
Repair it
fucking
in
2
2
centuries.
It's not gonna get repaired in 2 decades.
No.
Like,
How did
Yeah.
they repair that in 2 years? You gotta see that and be like, yo, how did they repair that?
It's not.
And
It's
that's one
not
of the
the
big-
city of Townsville.
Yeah, that's why it's a big problem because it's like Superman he loves humans. He would absolutely make sure he would fight someone like Zod way away from the city
Yeah,
so
Take
that
him
no one gets
outside,
hurt.
yeah.
Like he's literally plowing him through buildings. And I'm just like, everyone in that building is dead now. Just
Y'all literally could have
and-
taken a few seconds to go to another fucking planet.
Yeah, and you
Like,
literally
come on.
you saw that in the beginning of Batman. You saw how Superman's careless actions now led to people dying, and you're just like, come on, man, are you serious?
Yeah, and that's why Batman
only
hates Superman at first, and he's like, I
Yeah.
want to kill him. So it's like at
And look-
first I'm like, you know what? I'll go with this. But then Batman starts killing people, so I'm like, you're no different.
Yeah.
Like what?
The only good
And look,
person
it-
in the entire movie is Wonder Woman. Period.
Ray, sorry.
yeah.
We need to let Ray in
Go.
because he clearly has some stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say in regards to Superman and the whole destroying the city thing, like I was gonna say too, like all right, I forgot my point out.
Wow.
Keep-
He's so flustered. He can't.
No, I thought.
Keep going, keep going, keep
I
going,
thought you
keep
said
going.
something that was like that you were about to say.
Keep going out. Yeah, I'll interject.
Yeah, so in the beginning of the movie, you literally see that, and like what Superman does. And I'm like, oh great, the movie's being meta about itself. And then I'm just like, oh okay, great, the movie just disintegrated right in front of my face. You know, like.
I remember now.
What are you gonna
Okay,
say?
so I know that there are some occasions where it's like, you know, Superman like has to fight these people like in the city, and like sometimes it's understandable because like they're causing destruction to the city without Superman necessarily fighting them. So it's like, all right, he's kind of like being put on the spot, so he kind of has to either like fight them right there in the city and like try to slowly take it out of the city. And, you know, obviously that's going to lead to like some destruction here and there. That shit's understandable. But there's opportunities in like those movies where Superman clearly has enough time and like can reasonably lead characters like Zod away far enough to like a deserted area or like somewhere else entirely.
Or you know,
Hell,
that
even
desert
the
that
end.
they went to.
Yeah, like even the ending doesn't make sense because it's like the whole thing where it's like he has to kill Zod because he's about to like, you know, laser this family. But it's like, I mean, not really. He can very easily just turn his head up. If he has enough power to like break his neck, he has enough power to like just move his head.
Just fucking punch his like jaw upward.
like do something else. I don't know.
Like, go!
Yeah,
Show
and,
you.
like I love how people were like, "Oh my God, Superman killed!" and like, first off, Zod literally destroyed the entire city. That's one. So I think he's kind of justified. But then again, sure, go crazy with the whole Superman doesn't kill thing. go nuts.
Well, I mean, I do dislike that he kills him because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. It really doesn't. But at the same time, it's like, well, yeah, he kind of did kill the entire city. So I guess if Zack Snyder really wants to go and do that, he can. But that's not what he does. Neither does Batman. Batman doesn't kill anybody, right?
And it's
Batman kills people.
Are we going?
That's why I don't like that movie, because it's like,
No, I know,
I hate
but, like,
Superman because he
Batman
kills
does not
people,
kill.
and then Batman kills people as well.
No,
And
but
I'm not even talking about the fucking dream sequence where he's shooting people with a gun. Even outside of that, there are plenty of moments where it's like, that person is dead. Like, that person in that car, they're dead. Like, you're killing them. Hello? Like, why do you have a vendetta against Superman when you're doing the same thing?
And no, so like, yeah, I mean, in real
Hypocrisy.
time, like, Batman doesn't actually like really kill people, like, in general. I mean, even by accident, he wouldn't, right? But that's why that portrayal of Batman in Batman vs Superman is so bad, because it's not at all what Batman would do. Neither would Superman. Superman would try his best to not kill anybody, right?
Yeah. And I love the big climactic battle against them. Like I said, you can very much tell Zack Snyder does not like Superman and likes Batman a lot more because, of course, Batman starts overpowering the fuck out of Superman. And it's just like, oh boy, here we go. It's just like Dark Knight Returns all over again. And in a way, I hate shitting on Snyder a bit because I feel genuinely bad for him for, what happened to his daughter and everything. Like, obviously, that's a tragedy.
Yeah.
Right.
But, like, I can't help but, like, a lot of the issues are from him because
No.
he just doesn't get comics. Like, I'm sorry, he really doesn't. When it's something
And
like
he has a lot of
300,
bad takes.
when it's something like 300, where, let's be fair, there's not much to it.
Right.
Like, all he has to do is show people beating each other up in 300, and it worked, and it was fine. But when it comes to regular comics, he does not get it as much as some people think he does. Like, he really doesn't understand Superman. He doesn't understand Batman. It's just like, no. Like, I'm sorry, man, but you are just not the right fit for this job at all.
Yeah.
And it's even more apparent with, the big climactic battle with Batman and Superman. And the thing that makes Batman just drop all his entire vendetta against Superman is when he says, I have to save Martha. And, the...
Martha!
Oh my god, right, I remember this. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh my god, my mother is alive.
Wait, what happened?
Sorry, my mom came in, so I had to pause for a second. But
It's all good.
But yeah, like the whole thing that makes him stop from like inches away from killing Superman is when he says Martha, and he's like, "How do you know that name?" And it's like suddenly, out of nowhere, he's treating Superman like he's best friends, like they've known each other since college.
No,
I'm like, "Hey, buddy, let's go save your mother. Let's go save the world." And I'm just like, "Wow, what a huge turnaround!"
Yeah.
Just because you have the same name as like the moms have the same name. That's it.
I know.
I'm just imagining, now that you made that comparison, Eric, that like Batman just has a flashback to him and Superman as like college roommates.
Yeah, like it's just out of nowhere. He's treating him like he's friends, and I'm like, bro, you just tried to kill him. Like, I don't give a shit that y'all had the same mother with the mother with the same first name. Like, that's
We
stupid.
have so much in common.
And also, this is another reason why that scene is dumb. Who the fuck calls their mom by their first name?
Yeah, seriously.
Like, Superman is like, I have to save Martha. It's like, wouldn't it make more sense to be him being like, I have to save mom? That is something he would say. Like, no one calls their mothers or their fathers by their first name.
Yeah.
It
like,
would
that's
sound silly,
ridiculous.
but hey, it's honest.
That's so ridiculous. Like, no one does that.
It is ridiculous because there's no fucking way that Superman did that on purpose because he knows Batman's mother's name was Martha. Like, there's no fucking way. Let's
No
just be
fucking
honest.
way.
Superman is not that smart. Okay?
It's just stilted dialogue. It's just
Unless he's
badly
fucking
written
X-rayed
dialogue.
through his suit.
And of course, Superman dies at the end. Yeah, quote unquote dies. Obviously they're doing the whole death of Superman thing, but we know it's not gonna last at all. And
Because he fucking comes back in Justice League, and there was a fucking pop figure with the Justice League movie logo on it weeks before the movie came out that I saw in Best Buy, and I still have the picture right here.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with
And
that.
also,
And
okay, so I liked I like Justice League more than I did Batman versus Superman. To be honest with you. But I didn't like it enough that I think, oh man, this is a masterpiece, because it's not.
No, it's not enough.
I think I'm not really a big fan of what they did with the the whole like I don't even know what's that called, like essentially like a Ragnarok like storyline, right, where they're like, yeah, now we have to fight like this evil demon from millions of years, thousands of years ago or whatever. I really didn't care as much. You can tell I really didn't care much to really take note of what that was really about. But and the idea of like, yeah, now we have to find all the pieces to this puzzle, and then we can
Sylvia.
yeah, and we can defeat the demon with our powers. And I'm like, okay, really? And it's just like, that was like, and I was telling Ray this, that like, you can see the quality just kind of like, it starts off like decent, like, it's something that's stomachable, I can watch this. And then the quality just jumps off a cliff. It just stops. Like, you can tell, like, there's almost it's like an on and off switch. You can tell where Zack Snyder's stuff ended. And
I haven't. I'm pretty sure I haven't seen Justice League. I'll be honest, I kind of forget about these DCEU movies a lot. But I do know for a fact it's very apparent when, like, the other guy came in. Yeah. The guy who did Avengers 1 and 2, I forgot his name. The nerd guy? That's what I like to call him.
The quality shift?
Yeah. I mean, wasn't much of a quality shift.
It was a slight quality shift?
The Whedon, that's his name, Joss Whedon. He's the guy that ended up, like, finishing the rest of the movie. And, for good reason, because at the time, Snyder was mourning the death of his daughter. So, it makes sense why they needed to get someone in. But I don't think it was enough to really help, honestly, from what I hear.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the movie, so I'm going off of what you guys
I'm pretty sure I haven't. I know I saw Batman vs. Superman eventually. Like, I was just like, all right, I have to see it just to see what I think.
I saw, like, probably 10 minutes of it, because, like, I passed by it on a movie channel, but I didn't feel like watching it.
You saw 10 minutes and you're just like, no.
See, that's the problem. I never feel like this is not something I feel like I want to watch again. Like, that's like, I might watch when the Zack Snyder version of Justice League comes out, just to really see if where the point,
the Snyder cut,
just to see where the point that I knew that he, where he kind of stepped out, where I guess that he stepped out, is actually that point. Because I'm just gonna be honest with you, I didn't like it much, but it was also like not as bad as Batman vs. Superman, where I'm literally like staring at the screen with a question mark on my face the entire time. But obviously there are some characters that are better than other. I really liked Barry. Flash Barry was really good.
Flash Barry.
I'm just gonna call him Flash Barry. Because obviously Aquaman was great, and Wonder Woman was great, and obviously after that I went to go watch Wonder Woman again, and Shazam, and Aquaman, which I had missed.
Yeah, and it's so weird going into those movies and then looking back on like the dark metaphors that was like the first three like Snyder films, like plus Justice League and all that, and it's like, wow, what a fucking like shift in tone from those past films, because you have shit like Superman and Batman mourning the loss of people who died around them and destroying shit and leaving cities in apocalyptic wastelands, to like stuff like Shazam doing Fortnite dances and all that.
Yeah, and I thought that was so funny, honestly. And even like the like there were a lot of funny moments in Aquaman. I thought a lot of the cinematography in Aquaman was great, honestly. It was so good. A lot of it is fun, and you could tell they had fun with it. Manta, Black Manta was really cool. Actually, I really dug what they did with him.
Can I just interject slightly to say, just to slightly go back to Batman versus Superman?
Yeah, of course.
The actor I praised the most, I guess, was Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. But even then, I hate the way he's written in that movie, because it's something I hate with a lot of like evil plans, where it's very much just sort of like, oh, he's just he just knows what's gonna happen in the future. Where I'm just like, no, there's no way this would work, like quote unquote in real life, obviously, because there's a whole thing. His plan is so convoluted in that movie because the whole plan is like he wants to like get Superman to be a slave, but sometimes it seems he wants him to die and all that's a little unclear. But the whole plan of like, you know, it's very much I forgot the word for it, but it's very much that sort of like problem that some other villains have where it's just somehow they're clairvoyant and they know exactly what's going to happen in the future, and I'm like, that's just so lazy. Like, how do you know that this is going to work out exactly the way you hope it is? Like, that just doesn't make sense. And I'm not going to go into it because we talked about Batman vs Superman enough, but yeah, I just wanted to mention that because that always annoys me whenever I see it.
Yeah, I hear you on that.
But
Man,
yeah.
I don't know like what their initial plan. I always thought it was just weird, like in general, that they just started like, oh yeah, so we're gonna have like a whole DC universe reboot to like try to see if we could compete with Marvel. We're gonna start with Superman, of course, because he's like the core character of our whole company next to Batman, and then immediately after fucking Batman versus Superman, jumping straight into their fucking Civil War equivalent without even giving other characters like Batman and Wonder Woman, who is thrown into the movie as like the balance between the two heroes, like not even giving her film like, a chance to, I guess, show itself before that movie. And then, we're like basically all over the place. And then we immediately go to Justice League because they want to grab some of that Avengers like cash money that Marvel got literally years prior. And so it's like, I thought it was weird that they were just rushing them along. Like, I know I brought this up before, but there was like a whole meme of like, there was one panel where you see a bunch of directors in a room, like carefully plotting out the next phases of the MCU. It was like, all right, we're going to do this and this will happen in this movie and it'll connect into this next one, et cetera, et cetera. Like they're carefully planning out everything. And then you go to DC side of things and it's like they're shoving Batman, Superman, and all the other superheroes into a blender. It's like, hurry up and put it in. We got to get it out right now.
Cash money heroes. And
Yeah, you can very much tell they were rushing with the DCEU because, I mean, the literal second movie in that universe adds in Batman and Wonder Woman, and in that movie, they do the death of Superman. I'm like, bro, it's the second movie. Chill.
yeah,
Like,
seriously.
I feel like you should wait this out a bit. I get it. You started really late, but still, this is not how you do things.
And see, that's the thing. If you do it well, it could have. Honestly, there is so much. I've said this before. I think I said it even in the last episode, but since now we don't have it, they have so much potential with these characters. They really do, and they just never exploit it. They never do. They're like, oh yeah, if we just come out with some shit film and attach the name Batman to it, we're definitely gonna make our budget back, and we're gonna rake in some money. And it's just like, that's not enough, man. If you want to really, like, you really want to rake in the money, like, you have to do it justice. Like, think about this. For example, the MCU, right? I hate using that example now, but, like, let's just look at it for a second, right? The first Spider-Man film was great, right? And it took them 2 tries and really, trying to fit in the right elements. It didn't even matter. They didn't have to like put out like Dr. Octopus or Green Goblin or Venom in the first movie. They didn't need to do that. They brought out Vulture, who is
Dude, do the whole Sinister Six in the first movie.
And they brought out Vulture, who is, to be honest with you, not really the most exciting villain, but you do it so you can excite people for when the time comes for you to bring that stuff out. Even in the second film, do you see how people were so excited for Mysterio? But Mysterio is still not the end goal, but that's still amazing. Like, Mysterio is a big villain, despite what happens at the end. But and then I the rumors are that the next one will have a bunch of people, and now I'm kind of scared again because every single time that Spider-Man films end and die, it's because they overload their movie with millions of villains. Again, look at the first Spider-Man film. What happened in the third one? They brought Venom, they brought Sandman, and they brought New Goblin. Sorry. And then in the Amazing Spider-Man, they started out well with the whole lizard. That's fine. And then the second
Yeah,
one,
that
they're
first
like,
movie is pretty okay. Yeah.
yeah, and the second one, they're like, nah, we gotta do it. We could bring in Electro. We're bringing about Hobgoblin. We're gonna do it, guys. And then we're gonna kill Gwen. And I'm like, oh my god, are y'all serious? Like, and I feel like they get so sucked
And then
in.
Spider Pig comes out of nowhere.
And see, that's the problem. They get so sucked into the hype that they just forget that, like, you know, there's a way to make movies, and there's a way to make a cinematic universe that doesn't involve throwing everything that you have at it in the first few movies. Like, it's again, you look at Marvel. Did they say in the first Avengers movie, "Hey, there's Thanos, go"? You know, like, they didn't. They really didn't.
Imagine Thanos in Iron Man 1.
Yeah, seriously. It took them 10 years to get to that point. And then here they're like, nah, that's it. We're doing it. We're doing it right here, right now. Superman, die! And I'm just like, really?
Die.
And like, you know, they have, what's the name of the villain at the end of Batman vs. Superman? I already forgot his name.
The guy that kills
Doomsday.
Superman.
Doomsday, right? Is it Doomsday?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Doomsday.
Yeah, like,
Even though that's like totally not how like Doomsday was fucking born in the comics, but whatever.
Yeah, right. They use Zod's body.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they mix it with Lex Luthor's blood, and I'm like, okay.
That's my problem.
The hell
too.
is this?
They don't explain that at all. We're just like, how the fuck does that resuscitate him and turn him into a monster?
Yeah, that's my problem. Like, Doomsday is not at all, like, that's not how Doomsday was born. You're really gonna throw Doomsday out there on the first, like, that? This is not even, like, the movie. This is just Batman versus, it's an installment in your cinematic universe, and you're gonna throw everything in the kitchen sink into it? Like, I just
Dude,
don't get
like...
that. And then in Justice League, you have what appears to be essentially, like, it just feels so anticlimactic with the you know, the villain. I already forgot the villain's name. I don't really care much. Steppenwolf.
I
right?
can't remember. It's something like that. Yeah, I can't even remember the villain's name either.
Yeah, they have Steppenwolf, and I'm just like,
Steppenwolf.
it's not really, like, you know, if you really wanted to do it right, you should have brought literally any of the other Justice League villains. You could have brought out Killer Gorilla or whatever the hell his name is, you know, like
Killer Gorilla. Gorilla God.
Yeah, or like, or
Killer Gorilla.
or like, the Brainiac, dude. I already forgot. You know, I'm thinking of the cartoon. You could have brought out Brainiac. You could have brought out Killer Gorilla.
Killer Gorilla. Is that like McGilla Gorilla's deranged cousin? Killer Gorilla.
You literally could have brought out fucking Darkseid. Like,
Darkseid.
I don't really care. But I'm serious, you really could have. Like, there are so many other things they could have done that didn't need to have to do with Steppenwolf. Like, Steppenwolf, it does not... that wasn't exciting at all, you know? And the thing is, you're already on a crutch, right? As a cinematic universe, the DCEU is on a crutch already because everyone's not really as excited as they are to see, like, a Marvel movie. And then you bring out Steppenwolf instead. Like, people are already, like, questioning, who the hell is this guy? You know, except obviously the people who know the comics, like, they'll be like, oh shit, it's Steppenwolf, guys.
I want to meet a single person who's like, oh shit, Steppenwolf.
Yeah, seriously, it's like, you know, I'm not saying, you know, throw them all the villains at once. If you do it right, you could do it. Like, you can bring out Darkseid.
See, here's the thing too, is that because, you know, we all remember when Superman and Batman crossover for, like, you know, World's Finest in the animated series.
Yeah.
And what made that crossover so great was because, number one, it was well paced, there was a good story, there was a good conceivable meeting between the two heroes. There was no kind of, like, you know, none of this Martha bullshit. No, like, you know, hidden metaphors and shit that Zack Snyder tries to, like, put into his DC movies. And then the villains that they had to deal with, like, was fairly straightforward and well balanced. You had the Joker and you had Lex Luthor and you had like a pretty decent plot going on.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. It's just, I had a good time like just going through them, and I realized ended up enjoying the latter half of the DCEU movies than I really did the first half. The first half was almost begrudgingly slow, and then after that I was like, oh man, Wonder Woman, amazing. Shazam, amazing, including that one scene where
Masterpiece.
including that one scene where everyone just gets yeeted off the top of a skyscraper, and then Aquaman, amazing. I now understand why you guys actually enjoyed that.
Aqua
It was
Piece.
so good.
I mean, I don't think it was amazing, but I enjoyed it. Like, it's
Yeah.
It was
fine
a
for what it is.
huge step up, yeah.
But I think,
Like,
I mean,
Aquaman and Wonder Woman are probably, and Shazam are probably the best ones
in
so
my
far.
I'll easily rewatch those, yeah.
They really should need to like I think Amber Heard needs to not be in that movie.
Yeah, even though Amber Heard is like a fucking
Yeah.
sack of shit. So
Yeah, she should not be in the next movie. Just saying. That's just my opinion. But yeah. Yeah, that's kind of
But
what
yeah.
I think. If you ask me, I think, given the first three installments after what happened after Justice League have been strong, I'm praying for the strength of the DCEU going forward that don't involve fucking Batman or Superman or anybody else that I know they're gonna destroy. I also did end up watching Suicide Squad, unfortunately, and Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn. Birds of Prey was actually good.
Oh,
yeah.
right, that did come out this year. I forgot.
It came out right around
I will
the
at least
pandemic,
say,
sorry.
I will at least say those two movies with Harley are not like they're not great, but they're not bad compared to like the Zack Snyder series of films.
Oh, Birds of Prey was great. I'll be honest with you. It was.
I
great.
actually kind of enjoyed it. Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed that. I enjoyed that much more. And actually, again, Suicide Squad. The fact of the matter is that they really hyped up Jared Leto as Joker, and he was horrible.
He was also barely in the fucking movie.
I didn't even notice that, and the entire time I groaned and moaned every time fucking Jared Leto's face was shown on screen. But I really liked all the other characters. To be honest, they were fine. Like Will Smith as
Oh yeah, he was a great Deadshot. Deadshot.
Wow, I said Deathstroke. Deadshot. It was so good. He actually was really good.
Yeah.
I really liked, I really liked him. I obviously liked Harley Quinn, always good. And I'm glad they're bringing her back for the Jason Gunn. James Gunn. Oh my god.
Jameson Gunn.
I'm not having a good day. I'm clubbing up every few seconds.
Captain Magma.
Kratos.
James Gunn,
Captain Magma for Suicide Squad.
I'm really
Dude, that would make Suicide Squad a 10 out of 10 right there.
John Cena is there. I mean, it's bold of them to have just to show a lot of like blank space whenever they're just like doing in the movie, but I guess it's part of our artistic interpretation, right? Okay.
right, guys, right. And then
Isn't it great?
I'm looking forward to that one. I'm glad that they put the same exact actress for Harley Quinn. I don't know the names off the top of my head to be out right now, but I'm glad they brought her back. Again, I think Will Smith in Suicide Squad was probably the best thing. I'm surprised Ben Affleck actually made a cameo in Suicide Squad. But
a very brief one.
Yeah, but I didn't like parts of it. But then again, I did understand why people enjoyed that movie back then. It wasn't great, but I do.
Which movie?
Suicide Squad.
Oh, I hated that movie.
Yeah, it's not the best movie, but I guess I get it.
I thought it was a piece of shit.
Nice. Me too.
Nah, I really didn't like it. I really did not. The thing I like the most of Will Smith is Deadshot.
Yeah.
I will say that, but that basically is the height of my praise.
Got it.
Yeah.
I hated Jared Leto as Joker
That's so bad. It's
so
so
much.
bad. Like, it's just...
Remember when the promotional stuff was going out for like Walking Phoenix's Joker film, and then he was on social media like, "We got to stop this, guys."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that. I don't, you know, Jared Leto as Joker was a failure. I did not like a single bit.
Rip. that hurts.
Nah, I don't like it. I think the makeup was overdone. He looks like a newspaper. It's so bad. And I don't understand why they hyped him up so much. They're like, guys, this is the new Joker.
Yeah.
And
He was barely in the movie.
And I'm kidding. I kid you not. I swear to God, if you saw this guy walk around in the Bronx looking like that, I would beat him up myself. Like, he
Beat the
looks
shit
so
out of him.
bad. And it's like, which gangster has green hair? Come on, man. And you know, and then they make it seem like, oh yeah, the only way for Harley Quinn to love Joker is to throw her in a vat of acid too. Like, and they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna go make love in acid. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What is this?
That's my fetish.
Oh my god.
But yeah, it was very uncomfortable at times to watch. Again, I really liked Deadshot, Will Smith's Deadshot. I thought that was really good, and you know, I would have honestly hoped he would have came back for the next Suicide Squad movie, but it is what it is.
Hey guys, this is my Jared Leto jump into a vat of acid challenge. I'm gonna nominate this person and this person.
Oh my god.
Great.
But yeah, that is my little DCEU tangent.
DEU?
DCEU tangent.
Detective Extended Universe.
Detective Pikachu.
It has Sherlock Holmes. It has Pikachu. It has, you know,
It's funny because Detective Pikachu was produced by Warner Bros.
Yeah.
Alex Cross. There you go. I knew I was forgetting another one.
But yeah, that's been fun.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to go see Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Burn, burn, burn.
You know, maybe we could also just do like a watch party. All three.
Oh yeah, that's coming to HBO Max for free.
Yeah. So.
Free.
Disney Plus.
And you know what's funny? I just got an email from Disney Plus earlier today. They're like, Mulan 2020
We
is now
got to
part
stop
of your
this guy.
subscription. And I was like, cool, I'm not watching it.
Cool. Even though I wasn't gonna watch it in the first place, it always should have been.
Yeah, seriously. And so I'm looking forward to watching. And apparently Warner Brothers said that they're gonna release most of their movies next year on demand streaming on HBO Max. But you know, the article titled was like, which signals something bad for movie theater goers, and I'm like, wait. Look, I'm excited that I'm getting the movies, but at the same time, I really don't know how I feel about the fact that this, like, you know, some of these big movie like companies are now going to just move all their films to you know, to online streaming. It's like, well, I kind of miss, you know, going to the movies all the goddamn time.
Same.
You know? And so it's like, it really sucks. Like, it says here, its slate of movies won't generate the revenue its studio division needs, but it can help HBO Max's long-term success, and so they moved all their 2021 films to HBO Max. Every one of its 2021 films would debut on HBO Max at the same time they're supposed to play in theaters. And, you know, movie theaters in New York City still haven't opened up. Not that I would have went anytime soon until, you know, things clear up and there's a vaccine and stuff. But, like, you know, it's just really sad what's happening. You know, for those of you, we've talked about this a lot of times, we go to the movies maybe, like, 2, 3, 4 times a month as a, you know, as a group of friends, and we like to enjoy the, you know, whatever it is, talk about the movie after. get home late and then just be like, hey guys, I made it home safe or whatever. Or, you know, the inevitable, hey guys, you guys want to go to Midtown Comics? No! Okay.
That's usually me because this fucker's like, "Come on, Eric, it'll just take a sec," and then we're there for an hour.
And like, we're just looking at you know, giant.
It gets to a point where I'm like, "All right, guys, we come in here to look for stuff every time. I know there's gonna be new stuff, but if we're not gonna buy anything, maybe we should just not."
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I at least give the store my business.
Are you saying
Ray,
yeah, you're
please.
right, I don't. Eric, Ray, please.
Ray, please, please.
He's like,
I mean,
trying
I'm
to
not
prove a
saying
point here.
you don't, I'm not saying you don't have a point to it, but I'm like,
Yeah, it's just, it is really sad what's going on with movie theaters, and I really hope that, like, you know, things kind of get to turn around a little bit.
same.
There is a rumor that Disney Plus is merging with Hulu, and I really hope that doesn't happen, to be honest with you.
That would suck.
I mean, I already know that Disney owns, you know, they own the majority share of Hulu, right? 51%.
Exactly, just
Yeah.
1% higher.
And that's just because of the, you know, when they bought Fox, they also bought Hulu. I don't know. It just, for me, it, like, really, this entire situation is just fucked, man. Like, from the beginning, you know, movie theaters are gonna suffer, theme parks are gonna suffer. It's just really bad. What, you know, something that's also interesting, Universal Studios in Japan opened up Super Nintendo World.
Yeah, nice.
The Mario theme park. So they have a Mario Kart virtual reality like thing where you can you know, pretend to race in Mario Kart, which is really fun. And they have a couple other rides too. But you know, I was looking at some of the scenery and I was like, wow, this is actually really good. It's going to be coming to Universal Studios Hollywood, and of course, you know,
Universal Studios. Ching.
and Universal Studios Hollywood. Hopefully, you know, they'll. I think they're going to open up sometime soon. I know the Universal Studios.
I hope they never open up.
I hope they
Disney.
never open,
I'm sorry.
even after the pandemic's over.
Yeah, it's like no.
No.
I just stand there like stop.
Why go there when you can go to Playland Park?
Come on.
Where you going, baby?
Yeah. You know, I think I understand. I guess I understand why people want to.
Go to Playland Park?
I understand why people, you know, why they really want to keep the theme parks open and stuff like that right now, especially because, you know, all these theme parks are really gonna get like. They're losing so much by not being open this year.
Yeah.
And they're already like in a struggling business.
Like I care. Damn.
Damn.
All
The silence.
I only said that because I was like, yeah, like I care about these corporations that much.
Well, I guess we don't want to
don't
care about
care
the
for the
corporations,
corporations, I
but
care for the
we want to care
park.
about the excitement that we
I
could
care
have
for
at
that
these theme
excitement.
parks.
It's just like,
Yeah.
you know, AMC is obviously a big corporation that owns movie theaters, right? And we don't like them either because of every time they hike the prices of tickets, and we're paying pretty much $30 to go watch a movie at this point.
More like take a hike.
Yeah, and so you know,
Damn.
I don't like what they're doing. But you know, at the end of the day, all of us, it's still an experience for all of us when we go watch a movie, and so you know that would suck if that ended. Just like with theme parks, it would just suck, like not having that available. You know, even like it's something that we all would enjoy still, even if you know I'm the only person that really rides all the roller coasters. You know, I still really enjoy that. And so it's sad for me as a roller coaster and theme park enthusiast to see, you know, what would happen if these theme parks closed for good. Because some of them, I used to go there all the time as a kid, like Sesame Place in Pennsylvania, Hershey Park, also, you know, Six Flags. And I'm sure, you know, they'll be fine. They'll be okay. And
You know who's not fine?
Who that?
Who?
regular people. These corporations are fine.
That's what I'm saying. You know, like Disney hasn't given their workers really much of anything. They're just like, hey, come
God,
into
why are
work.
they open?
Yeah, they're just like come into work and just like if you guys are rich,
Come to work.
give your goddamn employees like money to stay alive. Thank you. Um, well, no,
Fuckers.
they don't care. Anyways, um, yeah, that's the sad part about that. So I've just kind of been living vicariously as I usually do through the YouTube videos of amusement parks. You know.
Do you watch those videos of people going on roller coasters and they
Oh,
hold the camera as
they're
they're
my
going?
favorite. They're so fun. Especially
Wow.
because like as a roller coaster, like somebody who enjoys like really riding rides and trying to see like different it's the reason I decided to go for engineering is because I wanted to design roller coasters too, growing up. And so I like to see what people use on their tracks and stuff like that. I like to see that. Especially when it's like an indoor coaster, it's dark. I want to see what kind of elements they put on the track so they see what they're doing. It's just something that's just part of like what I like to do. It's just I enjoy watching that, and it's fun. It's also like something you can when you're going to a theme park, you can prepare yourself. You're like, oh yeah, I can't wait to
Prepare
see
yourself.
this giant drop that I'll probably die on. It's just kind of funny.
Jesus.
But yeah, I hope that we're all able to eventually enjoy that stuff again at some point. To be honest,
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
maybe someday.
The conch shell.
Magic conch shell.
All right. Well, I think we exhausted that. What we've been up to topic long enough.
One hell of a tangent.
Yeah.
Fucking-
Yeah.
This is how much the DCEU has affected us.
I feel like the next two topics we can get by quickly, so let's just do those. I
So people
guess
have been scouting
Yeah.
the PS5. Oh right, by the way, the PS5 came out 2 weeks ago.
the PS5 and the Xbox Series X.
And-
We're in the next
Yee.
gen.
yeah.
What?
Welcome to the next level.
And Sony's a piece of shit. Yeah, but we
Yep.
know that. So in addition
What else is new?
to not releasing a good amount of PS5s, knowing the demand, they did that whole like artificial limitation thing. Artificial.
Yeah.
I forgot the term, but yeah, they did the artificial like limitation, and they're just like, hey,
Where they
guys,
like pretend to like no longer have stock.
yeah, and they're like, we don't have enough PS5s, and we're just like, really? You guys had like 3 years to like, oh, you had more than 3 years to do this. You learned from the PS3. You know this year was going to be trash. Like, why didn't you release enough stock? And they're like, we unprecedented demand. We're like, come on, man, really? Anyways, as a result, this has led to scalping.
I'm sadly not even that surprised. That's why I wasn't expecting myself getting a console anytime soon.
Yeah.
I also want to point out too, they totally messed up on the whole thing with like, oh yeah, we'll be extra prepared for the pre-order whole thing. So like, we'll let you guys know like what date you can expect pre-orders to go up, so you guys can be ready for it.
Yeah.
And then they released the pre-orders the same day as that one presentation with the everything they showed off with the PS5. It's like available for order now.
Yeah, and they absolutely like screwed that up, and we all know that
Yeah.
they did. It's just like, it's just so weird because, I'm as much as I'm not surprised because Nintendo did the same exact thing. Not even with Super Mario, but they did that with the Switch this year. Like, when the pandemic hit, Switches were going off the shelves, and people were starting to scalp it for $500-$600. And it's just like, really, do you really have to do this artificial, like, limitation thing? It just doesn't really, like, it doesn't help you. Because you could be making money, and you decided, no, I'd rather create clout. And it's like, why? Like, why? You know, you don't see Xbox, the Series X really sell. Oh, they're selling out too, but you don't really see them selling out in the same way that the PS5 is. Like, because Microsoft was like, yeah, people don't really care about us anymore. Since the 360, no one's really cared about us. That's just my opinion. I'm sure there are a lot of people who enjoy the Xbox still. No offense, Ray.
I mean, the Xbox has some merit, I think. Well, granted, so just like the PlayStation 5, the Xbox came out with like two models, one that's like a cheaper model and one that's like, the model you probably would want to go for. And the cheaper model is kind of a pointless because it's only digital, just like the cheaper PS5, but you'll barely be able to fit many games on that cheaper Xbox Series X. I think it's called the Series S. And I'm like, what's the point then? Like, if it doesn't have a huge hard drive, why would I ever get that? It'll fill up with like 3 games and that's it. So it's like that's just kind of weird to me. Plus, it does not incorporate the Xbox One X enhancements for the backwards compatibility, which is ridiculous to me. I'm like, how? It's the next gen machine. That was a huge misstep. That and the really low storage space really kills that SKU of the Xbox Series X. When it comes to regular Xbox Series X, it's expensive and it's big. It basically looks like a fucking PC, like a mid-tower gaming PC. But like, and I know there's not much on Xbox Series X yet in terms of like must-play games. There's really nothing on it yet. But to give credit where it's due, it seems to handle backwards compatibility really, really well. So there's that. Like, if you want to play like old Xbox games on it, then it'll work well. It'll work great even. Like it'll like incorporate a lot of enhancements, except for one game. And I find this hilarious because so many gaming outlets talked about this, where it's like, yes, there's one game where it actually runs worse on the Series X, and that is Mighty Number 9. so yeah, but other than that, like, it runs those older games really well and with a lot of enhancements. So like, if you want higher frame rates, higher resolution, and stuff like that, it works out.
Yeah, I think.
And PS5 obviously has backwards compatibility too. So there's that.
I really feel bad because like my first real console after the Wii was a 360. Like I had a good time with my 360 and I enjoyed it. And then just after that, it's just like they didn't really create anything all that exciting with the Xbox One, and they still haven't, to be honest, like outside of the backwards compatibility, they still haven't really created anything exciting with the Xbox Series X. And like I'm just not excited for that line. It's not because I've become, I've switched over to the Sony,
I mean, no one here is a console war loser, so it's whatever.
Exactly. I give credit where it's due. The backwards compatibility is something that they've managed to nail, but Sony's decided, nah, we're not. No. We don't care. And I think it's just like, the PS4 was so good. It really took all the things that people liked about like the Xbox and just said, we're gonna make an interesting UI. And we're going to do.
I don't like the UI.
You don't like the PS4 UI?
PS4 UI? I think it's slow as shit. I don't like it.
Oh, okay. Well, I personally like it. I think, and I didn't like the PS3 UI. That's my thing, though.
I mean, I never had one, so I don't know.
And then the PS5 UI, when I saw it, looked really good too.
It looked fine. The PS5 UI looked fine, and the Xbox Series X, I think, has the same UI as the Xbox One X,
it's the same one.
Which is a little disappointing. But I think the Xbox One X UI is actually fine, so I'm whatever about it, really.
Yeah, and so
I still miss blades though. That Xbox 360 dashboard blades, I love it.
True.
I don't know. I enjoyed my PS4 a lot, and so obviously I'm gonna go with
brag about it. Jeez, look at this guy.
Oh my gosh.
And so I'm gonna go with the PS5.
Yeah, I'm going with the PS5 as well. I'm just gonna wait for a while.
Until this whole fucking situation blows over.
Yeah, when things are a bit more normal, when there's a lot more in stock, so it's not like a
Yeah.
fucking scavenger hunt just to pick one up.
Yeah.
And when there's some more stuff for it that I want to play, because I think the only big game on it that I want to play, besides
Spider-Man.
Demon's Souls, the remake for Demon's Souls, is the Miles Morales game, and even then, that's on PS4. So,
Yeah,
like,
it's
if
also
you
on
want to,
PS4, yeah.
so you could play it there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have it on PS4. I haven't started it yet, but I've seen some of my friends play it, and I'm just like, but they play it on PS5. But I've seen some of my friends play it, and I'm just like really digging it. I mean, you know,
I hear it's shorter, so keep that in mind. It's
Yeah.
basically like an expansion more than anything.
yeah, I've also heard that it's like it is pretty much the same map, but like places where there weren't really much detail before, in the first Spider-Man game, there's now detail. Like the places obviously were
Next gen.
like places where you're
Next
going.
Gen Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like places
Triple
where you're
action
going to
web
be
blasters.
doing like missions and stuff like that. Obviously, will.
I love some of the
the
suits
textures.
in that game.
Oh, they're so good. Yeah.
Did you guys see the Common Rider suit?
I haven't. I think so. Me. Let me go ahead. And...
I have not. I gotta look this up right now.
So it is very much. I don't know if you know what Common Rider is. It's one of those.
I know what it is, yeah.
Shows.
Oh, yeah, got it.
And yeah, there's a suit in. I don't know if it's in the remaster or in Miles Morales, but it looks very much like a Tokatsu suit from one of
Yeah,
those live
yeah.
action shows.
I've seen the Arachnid Rider. Suit.
Yeah, the Arachnid Rider suit. There
It
you go.
looks
I think
so
it's in the
good. I've seen it.
remastered version of the original game, not Miles Morales. But yeah, it looks. It
Yeah,
looks
I'm
dope.
looking at it now. Yeah, it looks hella dope.
Yeah, that's the Common Riders inspired one, and I think it looks really cool. And I also really like the Spider-Verse suit in the
Oh,
Miles
that's a good
Morales
one, yeah.
game, because it literally has the same animation style from the movie, which I
Yeah.
dug.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if you noticed, they also added the Amazing Spider-Man suit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
saw
did
that.
from the first movie.
Yeah, and I'm not the biggest fan of that suit. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. But I think it's cool that it's in there now. They have
Yeah.
all movie suits now, I think.
All the movie suits, yeah.
You know what? I'm glad. I really am. I mean, you know, Insomniac has yet to disappoint me with the Spider-Man games, so, you know... Oh my god, they're coming to get me after I said
They're
that.
coming to get the... It's like, how dare you?
Yeah, I honestly have not...
Warner Brothers is coming like, no, still for Batman Arkham instead, please.
I'll be honest, I haven't really, like... You know, I don't really feel all that trashy about, like, looking at, you know, every time I look at a Spider-Man game from Insomniac, the first two, obviously, I'm just like, wow, this is good, you know, like, it's never disappointed me at all, like, honestly, like, I've always just been so excited to play more. I can't wait for DLC. I can't wait
For
to,
DC. For DC to make their own.
Goddamn. Yeah.
Spider-Man crosses over with Batman.
After the whole
Batman Arkham DLC.
You know what's funny? Speaking of, you know what's funny? 98% of the player base for Avengers died.
Oh right.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't
That
rip.
is
actually
so
die. They didn't actually die.
sad.
They left.
That's
Also-
true. We should probably say they didn't pass away. They just left.
Imagine.
Oh my god.
I'm like, how? Holy shit.
It's like that. No, it's like that meme. You know that meme from of the frog from Shrek 2 where it's like dies from mid.
Yeah.
Revival by Kino. That's what happens. Where it's
Yeah.
like dies from mid, and it's just the Avengers game.
God, I feel so bad too because Square Enix did not make any of their money back from that. Like, it's
no, they didn't.
completely undersold.
Should probably specify that Square Enix, like the publishing Western division. That obviously is
Yeah.
not the same Square Enix that does Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy and all that.
Yeah,
but
to be clear.
Because I saw
Sorry,
some people
guys,
that
no
are
more
just like,
Kingdom Hearts.
wow, damn, they're ruined. I'm like, nah, they're not.
They're ruined.
No, they're
But
not.
that is a
Yeah.
pretty big blow. 98%
Yeah.
of the player base
Holy
just
fuck.
left.
And when did that game come out? Like a month ago? Like about a month ago, right?
I don't think it was a month ago. I think it
Late,
was over
late
a month.
summertime,
Let me see. I'll look it up.
September.
which is still
October.
relatively recent.
Avengers game
And the thing is, like, it was
canceled. Oh, that's a
Oh.
2012.
Oh my
game.
god! I was like, wait, what
I'm
do you
like,
mean?
what?
They canceled it?
Canceled? It came
How did
out.
it come out?
They did that
It
thing-
came out in September.
Oh, okay. They did
Although
that thing
apparently
from
there's a
SpongeBob?
next gen version coming.
Oh yeah, right. They are gonna remaster.
I
it
doubt
for-
that's gonna help, but
They're gonna upgrade it
yeah.
for PS5. Honestly, like if it's not free, I'm not playing it. Just to be
Yeah,
honest with you.
I ain't playing it either. I hear like the story isn't too bad, but that's not enough to get me to play it.
Yeah, sorry, not now.
I imagine there can't be too much to do after the story as well, like to keep
Well, yeah.
like players invested.
That's the
So Ray,
problem.
that was the thing. That game is very much like a Destiny clone. I don't know if you've ever even played a game that's sort of like Destiny, but you really need a lot of like fun post game content to keep the player base going. Like having a decent story is not enough at that point. And yeah, that game really doesn't have much to do after you beat the main campaign, which is why I
Damn.
assume a lot of the player base just kind of stopped playing it.
Yeah.
Shit.
I pretty much with the when I did all of the so I played Destiny 2 recently for when I got the Stadia for free. By the way, I don't really recommend Stadia all that much. Unless you get it for
What a shock.
unless you get it for free, I mean it's not worth paying $100 for it. The controller is cool, feels nice. That's really it. Again, I got it for free. The Chromecast that comes with it is cool. Again, I got it for free. Destiny 2 is unless you have a subscription, Destiny 2 is like the only playable game that you can, actually enjoy on the Stadia. So I decided I just want to try this out. And controller, like if you are a fan of like Call of Duty or whatever, or you've ever played a Call of Duty game or or any FPS, then you understand that controller latency is a huge problem. And if you like really want to make sure your shots are timed correctly, good luck, because the whole idea is that on the Stadia it's cloud gaming. And so
Cloud gaming.
So, your input is delayed by maybe 5 or 6 milliseconds, and like that's
I thought he was about to say seconds. I was like, oh my god.
Holy
Imagine
shit.
playing a fighting game like that.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Jesus
like,
Christ.
And the thing is, what's weird is that they have some of these AAA titles like Assassin's Creed and stuff like that, and I'm just like, I really wonder how that runs. I'll just be honest with you. But
He's being honest with us.
I think if you don't get it for free or on like a really like a $10 sale or whatever, I don't recommend it, especially because the subscription is $10 a month. So I had the subscription over the summer for like 3 months because it was free. So they gave me 3 months for free, and I was like, sure, why not? And I tried it. I didn't really like it. I didn't really use it because it really didn't intrigue me all that much. But I am now just using the Chromecast that came with it because why not? That's all it's free. Anyways, to go back to what I was saying, after playing Destiny 2, yeah, you're right. I haven't played through all of it, but I understand what you're saying, Eric. That you really do need a lot of you need to have content after the story is over for you to really enjoy that game. And I feel like they really dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, apparently the campaign isn't too bad, but here's the thing: if you wanted to experience the story, you could just save your $60 and just watch a playthrough at that point.
Yeah.
So it's like,
pretty
yeah.
much. I mean, and also with those QuickTime events, which are so fucking weird. You literally just like the Thor video you sent us. With the QuickTime event.
Oh my god, that made me
yeah.
so mad. Okay, so for context, there was a clip floating around on social media of just like, this is a joke. And it was a clip from the Marvel's Avengers game where it's a quote unquote QuickTime event where it's like you have to press X. But the thing is, if you don't press anything, the game just hangs on the frame of like Thor about to hit his hammer on the ground. It's like the game just pauses. And it just sits there and waits for you to hit X or square or whatever it was. It gets to a point where I think the music stops playing. So it's just a silent, still image just waiting for you to hit the button. And I'm just like, that's so pointless. Like, at that point, just make it a cutscene. Like, what is the reason for that?
Yeah.
That's why I put massive air quotes around QuickTime event. Because it's not even an event!
Yeah.
Or it's not quick!
I'll be like, yo, I have to go, use the bathroom. I'll be back. And Thor will just hang there. and not do anything.
See, a QuickTime event is something like in Resident Evil 4. That's a QuickTime event. You have to react right away. In Avengers, it's literally just interacting with a cutscene, I guess. Like I'm that's the only reason I can think of why they put that. It's like, "Oh, it'll make it more interactive." I'm just like, that's dumb. Like there's no reason for it. Just make it a cutscene where you just see Thor hit his hammer down. It was just beyond dumb.
I know that you mentioned this before, but Spider-Man does have, I think, a couple times where it is like that. But generally, all the QuickTime events are QuickTime events in the Spider-Man game. Damn.
Even yeah, yeah. PS5 scalping ahoy. So don't buy any of them.
Yeah, seriously.
Until there's more. Yeah, just wait. It's not like shoes, like what Lawrence was explaining to us, where it's limited and all that. PS5s are not limited. They're gonna be back in stock
PS5s.
Yeah,
eventually.
seriously. I was
So-
telling these
so
guys
just
before
wait.
the podcast, because we were talking, and I said, look, if you're maybe selling one, like if you're really in hard times and you really need, you can afford to do it. Maybe one, you could do one. But like, there are people out there who are doing like 45. And there's the famous tweet now. It's already famous. That kid that got robbed because he had 45 of them.
Yep, where he had like 45 and someone robbed him of all of them.
Yeah, because he pretty much leaked everything. Right.
Yeah, like he used his real name on social media and people found where he lived and they stole it.
Yeah, and so, obviously just like you're going to be safe, but like don't overdo it. Like if you really have to, if you feel the need to, like you could just do one. Like
Well, no, I mean just don't.
just don't. But like if you're really like
Number one, do not rob people.
Well,
Number
yeah,
two,
don't rob
do
people.
not scalp video game consoles. Number three, if you have to like resell a video game console, just like sell it for like a moderate price at least. Like don't
Yeah.
fucking
Also,
jack up the
I
price and
assume
make fun
these
of people on
people that
social
really-
media who can't have one.
Damn.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was like, I was expecting that analogy to like just stop at a certain point, and it kept going. I'm like, oh man, Ray's heated right now. But
I mean, it's true. It's true. Like if you are really in need, obviously your priorities are kind of mixed up, but fine. It is what it is.
well, no,
But-
even if you feel like you really need a PS5,
No,
all I'll
you need
say
the
is
money.
there's no way in hell that you finished all those games you bought for your PS4
Oh, yeah,
or your
exactly.
Switch or your PC. Just play some of that in the meantime.
Yeah, and there are enough games like that are coming onto the PS4 that are also on the PS5. You could just enjoy it on your PS4. I bought Miles Morales
Yeah.
for my PS4, and thankfully you get a free upgrade to the PS5 version when that comes out. It's not
Yeah,
a big
so-
problem. Like,
Yeah.
It's really like they're gonna keep supporting the PS4 for a while. It's not like the PS4 is dead now. It's not. So
Yeah, if you need the money, that's understandable. But it's clear that with the scalping situation, there's a huge want.
Yeah. And
yeah, so you know.
And I was explaining to these guys because I resell sneakers on the side. Sneakers are. Can
He
be
tried to
limited.
sell one pair to me for like $1,400, and I'm like, damn, I thought we were
What
friends.
the hell?
I thought you were gonna say he tried to sell one sneaker.
Only one. I don't need the other one.
And I made my decent share of money, and if there's one thing I try my best not to do, I try my best to stay away from video game consoles because I used to be in that position where I used to try for every single video game like amiibos and stuff like that, or even the Wii. And I remember just like the artificial scarcity of the that's the word I was looking for. The artificial scarcity of the Wii, the Nintendo Switch, the NES and SNES minis, and it was just really upsetting for me. And even like Ring Fit, I can't believe it took me so long to get a fucking Ring Fit. Like it's just I've been in that position where as a gamer I've had to endure like really bad scalping, and I don't want to be in that position.
Fucking
of, like,
amiibo situation.
I really don't want to be in that position where I'm selling a video game console to other people for money, because I know what that's like. Being in that position of somebody who doesn't want to pay more for something, like something that they want, right? And like with shoes, I totally like in that case. It can be limited, right? Like as soon as they're done, they're done making it. it's done. There's no more like restock at like 5 p.m. tomorrow or whatever, or it's always going to be on the shelf, because that's not what a limited sneaker is, right? And that creates a culture behind it. There is a culture behind like sneakers and stuff like that. Sometimes they retro like a sneaker, and they'll be like, they'll bring back a color from 1985 or 1990, and they'll just be like, hey, here's the 2020 version of this. And I appreciate that, because again, there is a culture behind it, and if you can afford to participate, then people will, it's a flex. It's a subtle flex. It's like a car, right? You buy an expensive car, you use it to flex, and it looks nice and whatnot.
Flex.
But you don't need it. You don't need it. You want it, and you can resell. You can resell it if you want. I don't think it's a good idea, but some cars are limited, I guess, and if you can afford to pay for it, then why not? But yeah, it's just kind of one of those things where with video game scalping, I really don't want to participate in that. And I have friends who do it, and I respect their hustle. I really do, because I know what they're going through, the reasons why they have to do it. So I'm fine with, I can accept some of them, but they're also not overdoing it. Again, like I said before, if you're not overdoing it, I can maybe respect the hustle, but if you're just trying to take it away from somebody else, I feel like there is no saving for you at that point.
Just don't be a smug prick about it, because that's what pisses people off.
Yeah, like if you
exactly.
Do it in silence. I don't really I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear about it. And I've told all my friends about it. Who do it. I say, look, I don't want to see it. I don't want you to try and sell it to me either. Do it in silence. If you make money, that's cool. If somebody's actually willing to pay the prices, do it. But I will not participate in it, but I wish you the best of luck, kind of thing. Because,
Shout out. Yeah. I'm sorry, keep going.
One of my friends, actually, I sold a console to Ray recently for one of his friends. But, this same person, she needs the money to pay for medical school, and so she took up the hobby, and, obviously she's selling, like, the consoles and stuff like that. And I said, and it's making her, it's helping her to pay for her student loans and for her bills and for medical school and all that. And I said, you know what, that I can be okay with this, just as long as you don't overdo it and you don't show me, you don't try and like target me or my friends or stuff like that. And she's not. There are other people that she looks at. But yeah,
right.
And I don't fault her for it, because, when you're in that position and you want to, like, get through medical school, because for some reason medical school is really expensive here, they...
She also sold that Switch at, like, a very, very reasonable price.
She sold it, she sold it to Ray for retail. The retail price, because I told her it's for, for my friend, so I'd appreciate it if you could sell it to me, and I'd give it to him. It's the Animal Crossing Switch, when that was a big thing, and, she gave it to me for the retail price. And so it shows that she doesn't really, she doesn't mind missing out on profit if it's for, me or, for a friend or something like that. But for other people, obviously, if they're willing to pay the price, it helps her get through medical school, and so I don't mind that.
Exactly.
But if it's somebody who's just trying to cash in on the profits and just fan themselves with the money, I hope you get robbed, man. I hope you get robbed. Anyways,
yeah, exactly. By the way, so Lawrence, you want to buy that PS5 I just scalped?
Oh my god.
Wait, Craig left.
Craig left, but you're still recording with the OBS, right?
Yeah.
I thought you have to be like, oh no.
Because you took your time answering. No, I was gonna say, so shout out to all the Robin Hood type of people out there who buy all these consoles or just any product and they resell it back at just regular price, because they know people are struggling to get their hands on something, and then they just sell it back because they know that obviously there's gonna be a huge problem if other people keep buying this in lucrative amounts, so I'm just gonna take.
Okay?
What the hell?
Sorry, my mom scared me because I didn't hear her get
Oh
inside
my god.
my room.
Jesus.
Wow, that's gonna be on the podcast now.
I can cut it if you want.
Sure.
It-
Also, I'll
it-
be right back because
well-
I actually have to do something. So you guys can move on to the
I
Kratos
was,
topic.
All right, wait.
I was-
Let me.
I'll be back later.
Lawrence.
Cut.
I was kind of talking. No. I was kind of talking over that. So if you cut it, then it's gonna cut out my whole like sentence there.
Oh. What were you saying? Then we can just. I can just figure it out.
All right. Well, yeah. Either which way, shout out to those people who like resell it back, knowing that like scalping is like a huge problem. So like, you know, you're still buying like a huge amount of like consoles, not a huge amount, but like you're selling it back to like the people who like legitimately want to get their hands on it to fucking play the system and take it out of the fucking box.
Yeah.
But yeah. So speaking of video games, and on that for that matter, Sony, we just got news yesterday of this recording that Kratos has arrived in Fortnite, and you know, obviously, this is nothing new with like in terms of like you know the God of War franchise and with Fortnite itself, because you know God of War, like Kratos, he's appeared in like other things as like a guest character. He was in Mortal Kombat. He was in that one golfing game. I think he was in a Tony Hawk Pro Skater game at some point, I believe. So he's and of course he was in PlayStation All Stars. So he's no stranger to starting in like these strange crossovers. But and you know Fortnite has always been adding guest characters. Like we had Marvel characters, DC, Star Wars, and all that. So you know it's a natural fit.
Yeah.
But what makes this really like a huge deal is the fact that Kratos is not technically a PlayStation exclusive character in this regard. And I don't know if this was Sony's intention, but from what it seems, you are able to play as Kratos in the Nintendo Switch and Xbox versions of Fortnite. So you can literally go into the Switch version right now and purchase the Kratos skin and his weapons. And you could just start playing as him on the Nintendo Switch and on the Xbox, like on Xbox One and Xbox Series X, if like the Fortnite is on there, like you can start playing as him on there. So even if you don't have a PS5 right now, you're still in luck. You can play as the latest iteration of Kratos from that new 2018 God of War game in Fortnite on any system, which is fucking huge. Again, I don't know if Sony intended to like, oh yeah, Fortnite, like it's totally cool that you can have like our company exclusive character that we don't want on other consoles playable on other consoles. I don't know if that was what they were going for, but the fact that this is happening anyway, like you can to some degree officially play as Kratos on a fucking Nintendo and Microsoft console is huge.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, and that being said, there are also rumors, because there have been leaked images. I don't think it's been confirmed or revealed yet, but Master Chief has also been leaked alongside Kratos. So we might be seeing him come in, and obviously, like, you know, Master Chief has been featured in Minecraft before, and you can actually buy that skin on the eShop. So you can play as, like, Master Chief and Cortana in that. But if Master Chief gets into like Fortnite, you can play as him on the Switch too and on the PS4 theoretically. And there's also additionally, I don't know if there's been screenshots leaked, but there's also a rumor that Samus is coming to Fortnite as well. So we might possibly also get Samus on the PlayStation and Xbox versions of Fortnite, which is really crazy to think about. And it's funny to me personally as well, because I think back, and I told you guys about this before. I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast, but at some point in the past, I don't remember which game this was, like if it was 1 or 2, but in a past Marvel Ultimate Alliance game, they approached Nintendo asking if they could include Link and Samus, and they got like prototypes of them ready. Like there was one point in the game, in developing the game, that they were fully playable. Like they had a whole moveset and everything. And if you look it up on YouTube right now, there's a whole video showing gameplay of them like in action. And so they showed this pitch to Nintendo, and they showed the gameplay of them. But the reason why they never showed up in that game in the first place is because they accidentally, well, I don't know if accidentally, but I guess they made the mistake of showing Nintendo Samus and Link running in the game on the PlayStation 2 version of it. And if you look at that video too on YouTube, you can even see the PlayStation like DualShock control logos on the screen with like Link and Samus on it, and it's super funny. So I find that kind of funny, like in retrospect, that like there's a good possibility we might see Samus like not only in the same game as fucking Kratos and Master Chief and all these other characters from like Marvel, DC, Star Wars, etc. But like she's gonna be playable on other consoles, which is like a really huge deal. And I just I wanted to bring that up because
Yeah, I it's interesting to think about, like, obviously the whole concept of video game crossovers has kind of been, I feel like it's been diminished a little bit ever since Smash kind of decided, yeah, we'll put in whoever the fuck we want at this point.
fucking whoever.
I mean, yeah, let's just be honest. Like, I feel like, it's cool, but it's just not gonna, it won't work,
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just my opinion. I think it's weird to see that, like, Kratos is in Fortnite. I think that's interesting to say the least. I mean, I played through the entire Fortnite season with Deadpool in it, and I got the Deadpool costume. And so I played the shit out of that because I think it's so cool to see. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool to see these characters like, just running around in like the battlefield just fighting each other. Like it's a huge like crossover at this point.
Yeah, that's what I think too. It's just like it is kind of cool in that sense. I know obviously when we saw PlayStation All-Stars, that was something to think about. Something that happened with the video game crossovers. I'd like to see what they do if they ever do something with Samus. That'd be interesting.
It would be really cool if it turns out that she, like, if the rumors are true and she's actually in the game, and then we could play as her on any console. And it's cool because, maybe we'll get to like some of her weapons in the game as well, which would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's weird, but also kind of interesting at the same time. I mean, we'll see. I really do hope that it works out well.
Yeah.
I think since we're waiting, we can also talk about the live action Spider-Verse, and then maybe when Eric comes back, he can give his thoughts on the Kratos stuff. But
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
So right now, obviously there is nothing confirmed. Well, as of this recording, because who the fuck knows what will happen between now when we record this and when it actually goes up on YouTube. So, quick disclaimer: we're recording this before anything is confirmed. For all we know, this might not even be happening, and it's just rumors completely overblown. But there is sufficient enough evidence.
Back.
Yo, what's up?
Right.
You're just in time for our live action Spider-Verse conversation, but
Wait,
before
we
that,
talked about the Kratos thing that fast?
Yeah, I was just about to say, do you have any thoughts on the Kratos thing? Like, cause I basically talked about the gist of it. I even talked about the rumors that Samus and Master Chief might be coming too.
I don't know much about it, but I know that he's in the game now for like a limited time, I think.
Yeah, and you can play as him on the Switch.
Cool. All right. Well, there you go. That's all I can really think.
God of War
I
on
don't
Switch.
know about it. Can you imagine?
Kratos for Smash.
Hey, I mean,
I wouldn't mind. Well, I mean, that'd be brutal. he just rips Mario's head off.
Final Smash.
Hilarious.
God, it's a KO.
Oh my god,
it's like the racist Mario animation.
That was so funny. Oh my god.
Mamma mia!
Oh god.
No, Kratos. The rating just goes up.
It goes up to adults only at that point.
Eric's reaction was priceless. Oh my god.
That's actually cute because.
Wait, reaction on what?
To Kratos possibly joining Smash, like if it were to happen.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, it probably would be adults only because I remember God of War did have like titties and all that in it. So
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, very few games are adults only. None of the God of War ones were,
yeah,
because
that's
like
true.
there is like a button pressing mini game where you have sex with them, but you don't see it. That's the thing.
Yeah,
I think that's how they
and
get away with it.
to be extra fair, you also don't see like adults only game in like GameStop and all that. But yeah, it's like it's a rarity with that. But yeah, I also brought up the fact that because I told this to you and Lawrence before, but I brought up how Samus coming in would be interesting because if she's playable on the PS4 version, that would be funny in retrospect because of how they tried to put her in Marvel Ultimate Alliance way back in the day, but they didn't end up like going through with it because they accidentally showed Nintendo the PS2 version of the game with the Link and Samus running in it. And I was like, oh geez. Like you can see if you look it up on YouTube, you see gameplay
Yeah,
of it
I
and you can
looked it
see the
up after
PlayStation
you mentioned
buttons.
it to me way back, and I was kind of mesmerized by it.
Yeah. It's a funny little footnote and it'll be like funny to like if it happens like for real. But yeah.
Ah, man. So you talked about the Kratos thing, and then you moved on to the Spider-Verse stuff.
Yeah, we literally just started like as you came back.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess just to reiterate, nothing is confirmed as of this us recording this podcast, which is December 4th, 2020. But there is sufficient enough evidence to suggest that it could be happening. But there are rumors floating around that a live action Spider-Verse of sorts. We don't even know
Yeah.
if it's going to be that, like if it's going to be called that, but there is rumors that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield may be coming to the next Spider-Man MCU film alongside well, what's
Tom
his name?
Holland?
Tom Holland, yeah. I'm tired. But
I'm like, what?
but yeah, like the three of them are gonna show up possibly. There's been heavy
I will be
rumors that
so
we even
disappointed if that's not the case at this point with all the rumors.
yeah, because we had the whole thing with Sam Raimi, like he was announced as like the director of Doctor Strange 2, and of course like
Is that confirmed? I thought that was a rumor.
I think that's confirmed. Yeah,
Wow.
you could double check if you want, but
All right, let me see.
yeah, like because when that got announced, even me personally, I was like, all right, they're just bringing in Sam Raimi because he's a horror movie director. It has nothing to do with Spider-Man,
Oh, yep,
especially
you're right.
since
He is.
Yep, all right,
He's
cool.
directing it. That makes me very happy because Sam Raimi is awesome. So
Yeah,
I will
he's a
watch that.
good
As much
director.
as I don't like the MCU at this point, I will watch
Yeah.
that.
Because that's the thing, because people they hear Sam Raimi and like while he's known for his horror films, there's also that side that know him better for like the Spider-Man side of things. So it's like people are wondering, oh, does this mean Spider-Verse?
He
And-
makes movies with a lot of soul. I'll just say that, if that makes sense.
I believe you, especially after hearing the shit that happened with Spider-Man 3 was mostly Sony's like meddling and all the plans he had for Spider-Man 4, and the fact that he apologized for that movie too.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna mention. I feel so bad because he always apologizes for it. It was like, yeah, that movie's so bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and I'm just like, you basically explained that it wasn't your fault, so I don't know why you need to feel the need to apologize. But
because it's clear, especially with the first two like Tobey Maguire films, he clearly cared for the character in the series.
Yeah, he gave his own spin on things for sure, but it was a fun spin on things.
It was pretty much like the biggest like mainstream interpretation of Spider-Man everybody knew at the time, like if they weren't reading the comics.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, and I think the movies still hold up today. And in general, he's a good director. Evil Dead series, Drag Me to Hell, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Dude, like, to this day, like, even with the existence of the MCU, Spider-Man 2 is still considered, like, an all-time classic superhero movie. Like, one of, like, people say if you open up a dictionary, like, you see superhero movie, like, Spider-Man's right, Spider-Man 2 is right there.
A lot of the times, actually, that's true, because if you look up a lot of, like, a lot of these, like, cinematography, like, textbooks and stuff like that, they actually do use a lot of examples from Spider-Man 2, like, as like, theory, It's actually really interesting.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, he he was announced to be like the director for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and it was announced previously that it was intended to be like a sort of horror film, like, or at least have horror elements in it. And with Sam Raimi being brought in, that made a lot of sense because like that's what he's known for. And he also obviously directed superhero movies, so it seems like a perfect fit. And it's just cool in general that he's coming in to direct an MCU movie. And it's kind of funny too, because like they had that whole like shout out to Doctor Strange way back in Spider-Man 2 when they had like, oh yeah, who are we gonna call this guy? He's like, Doctor Strange. That's pretty good, but it's taken. So yeah, but now people are there was that whole thought that people had like, what if Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man shows up in the movie? But obviously that was just like people like, you know, baselessly speculating, and it's like, guys, I don't think that means anything. Let's not like, you know, let's hold our breath here. But you know, there's more and more stuff coming out. Like, you know, there was that whole Google search thing where like if you type in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness cast, you're seeing shit like Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and fucking Ryan Reynolds in the cast listing for that movie. And it's like, you know, on one hand, it could be a thing where it's like maybe Google is pulling the results from somewhere where like someone is like manually editing this stuff in. And it's like, because who knows, like, where Google's getting its information? Like, how do they know that they're in that movie? Because nothing's been announced, unless so it's like it's coming from like some sort of like hack or something like that. But at the same time, it's like they haven't changed it yet. It's been around there for a while. I think it's even still up right now. If you Google it, like their names are still on there. So now there's like speculation that like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness might be him traveling the multiverse. And eventually he might run into like different versions of Spider-Man from the past movies. And, you know, Sam Raimi's there, so obviously he's going to have like his whole accurate, like, you know, depiction of like what Tobey's Spidey was in the past. And then of course you'll probably see like a cameo of Andrew. And then you'll see like a quick cameo probably of Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, because now that's part of the, you know, Disney library and all that. And so they said that they're trying to like figure out how to integrate him into the MCU. Even if he's not necessarily in the same universe. But, you know, that's pretty much how they can have, like, that whole gateway to bring him in. Yeah. And so it sounds feasible, even though nothing's confirmed. But now, with, like, the whole Spider-Man 3 rumors of, like, you know, the third Homecoming movie, people are wondering, like, is, like, Tom Holland going to team up with the past two Spideys and, like, you know, go on to, like...
That would be so dope.
Yeah, I know.
It would be, and there's also the whole thing that like, you know, and this is also a rumor, but Jamie Foxx and Andrew Molina are allegedly, they are allegedly cast as their past roles. So somehow we might see Doc Ock come back, even though he might have died in that second movie. Like, you know, we're supposed to believe he died, obviously, but like it's possible he might come back and reprise that same character, or maybe a different interpretation of him. We might see the same version of Jamie Foxx's Electro, or at least a new interpretation. Because, you know, there was that whole thing that they were trying to do a Sinister Six movie in the Amazing Spider-Man universe. And, you know, me and Lawrence, I know in particular, we kind of had that feeling that maybe Electro wasn't fully killed off. Like, maybe just parts of him were inside of, like, what was it, like that neckband or whatever it was, that, like, whatever remained of him after he died in that movie. And so, like, maybe some corporation would, like, take that and try to revive him or some shit for, like, the Sinister Six film. But, like, maybe we might actually see that, like, you know, fleshed out in, like, this new movie. This could potentially be a huge thing if all of this is true. Again, we don't know what might happen. But the one big rumor, I know I'm going on for a long time, but I just want to, like, cap it all off. There's one big decisive rumor that may... point this towards being real, and that's how allegedly today on Sony's Latin America YouTube channel, because there's some sort of movie convention going on today that movie studios show up for. Marvel showed up at it last year and revealed a bunch of big stuff, and there's like this secret time slot apparently behind closed doors that they show off like stuff from an upcoming film. But Marvel's not there this year, and Sony is taking that time slot, like the behind closed doors time slot. And there was a removed video that was not supposed to go up on their Latin America channel that apparently talks about the possibility that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield will be joining Tom Holland in the next Spider-Man movie. And so if that's true, which apparently it might be, because there's a lot of people reporting that they actually saw it there, like a lot of credible sources. We might actually see Spider-Verse be like the next film, which will be a huge thing, especially since like, it's these other Marvel movie universes crossing over into the MCU, like, which is, you thought Endgame was crazy. This is going to be unprecedented. And I know most of us are pretty much done with the MCU at this point, but this will probably be like the one thing I definitely would like to see and come back for. I mean, especially since they left that whole fucking Spider-Man Far From Home on a big cliffhanger, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That was a huge cliffhanger.
I will. So actually, another thing.
Big one.
over the period that we haven't done the show, I actually also watched Venom.
Right, and they might also tie that stuff into.
And I heard that they were thinking about putting Venom in there, which, again, I told you guys how I feel about this earlier today. That I don't know how I feel about them throwing all these villains and characters in there, because we all know what has happened before when they decided to make it a jambalaya of villains.
Right.
But.
Something I neglected to mention was that there have allegedly been reshoots. I don't know if it was for Venom or Morbius, but apparently Tom Holland was considered for the reshoots in order to further tie them into the Spider-Man side of things. So yeah.
I'm excited to see where they keep going. Sony has I don't think they've really done all that bad of a job with Spider-Man. I really don't. I feel like they're doing a better job with Spider-Man than Disney would have, if Disney kept him. But yeah.
And this might also, because there's the whole thing too with I think the contract with Sony, Marvel, and Spider-Man, and Disney. The whole deal that they made up with the film deal. He'll only appear in this many films, and I think this is supposed to be that last one. So if, maybe this could be true. Maybe they're going out with huge bang of celebrating Spider-Man's movie history, which would be honestly really cool. I really hope it's a great film.
I hope it turns out well. Like I said, I'm basically done with the MCU. I will watch whatever the hell this guy pointing at Lawrence, theoretically, drags me to, and I'll watch the ones that interest me, and that's it.
He says whichever ones I'm dragging him to, and then next thing you know, I drag him to every single one of them. Right? I'm not wrong.
No, you're not.
See? There you go. But yeah.
It's like, Lawrence, come on.
It's really funny, honestly. But yeah, it's interesting to see what will what's gonna happen with this entire thing. After the way they dealt with Spider-Verse, I'm curious to see what they'll do. Especially in the live action. Oh, by the way, just so you guys know, Spider-Verse is coming off Netflix by the end of the year. So,
please,
watch that.
Last chance to go see that. We have no idea where it's gonna come next. There's rumors that it might come to Disney Plus through a Sony Disney deal, but nothing's confirmed yet. So just if you don't own the movie, that's your last chance to go see it.
And then this is when Sony is introducing the Sony subscription service.
Sony's fucking subscription service.
You can watch Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and
Emoji movie.
Spider-Verse on there.
Hey, it's your favorite movie, Ray.
No, it's not, Lawrence.
What, you didn't like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs? I thought you loved that movie.
I actually haven't seen that movie yet, but no, I was actually talking about...
I really like the first one.
He's talking about his favorite movie, Eric.
I'm not fucking... That's not my favorite movie. Shut the fuck up.
Alright, yeah, that's just an inside joke because Lawrence bought Ray Emoji Movie as a joke.
For some fucking reason.
No, it's funny. Yeah. No, okay. Here's the joke, everybody.
Okay. Alright.
As you know, the Red Squid on the Inkling Brothers podcast, he was like... He we kept making this joke that the Emoji Movie is Ray's favorite movie, and then Isaac came up to him and he's like, "Ray, is it really your favorite?
Is it actually your favorite movie, Ray?"
No, I think that's close to accurate. So what happened, but it wasn't exactly what happened. What happened is we went to the bathroom under Rockefeller Center, right? and we were discussing like what are we gonna do for the hangout today, and we thought maybe we should go see a movie.
It's all
And
coming
at
back
the
to me now,
time,
Eric.
yeah, and at the time, Emoji Movie was in the theater, so me and Lawrence were like propagating this joke that Ray really likes Emoji Movie and wants to see it. So we were like, Isaac, didn't you know Ray really wants to see Emoji Movie? I think we should go see that for him. And then Isaac took us so seriously, and he turned to Ray and goes, "Ray, do you
Like
really want to see that movie?"
like a very like serious, like not serious in the angry sense, but like a legitimate, like, yo, Ray, like for real?
And Ray got
Like,
so mad at
can you
that.
confirm this?
And Ray was like, "No, god damn it, shut up!" Oh my god,
And
that was
then the
great.
joke got better because when I came back from college that semester, I brought Ray a gift and I gave him not even
Emoji.
just the DVD. I got
He
him
gave him the
triple
DVD
pack.
Blu-ray
Blu-ray.
set.
I
Yeah.
got him the triple pack Blu-ray set,
Fucking triple pack.
and I said,
Have you
I
seen
know
it?
you're gonna enjoy it.
I have not. It's somewhere. It's put away somewhere. I'm
Ray,
not saying that like, you know, oh, I'm putting this away, but like I had
I wouldn't
it wa-
blame
it
you.
wa- like in general, I just had to put some stuff away
Ray,
for a certain reason. But yeah, like it's somewhere in my house though.
Ray. Here's an idea. When things get
I
back
thought
to
you were gonna be
normal,
like, Ray, it's okay.
no, well, I mean it is okay. But Ray, if when things get back to normal and we're able to hang out again, here's what I propose: we go to your place, we kick your parents out, and by that I mean they go have a lovely dinner on their own, and we're just in the apartment ourselves. We order some pizza, get some snacks, and we'll sit down and watch the Emoji Movie, all three of us together,
Yes, and we
in Ray's
also
apartment.
watch the original food.
Oh my god, no.
Wait, what did he say?
He wants us to watch the original food fight along with that.
No. All right.
Yes,
There
no.
isn't. No.
Listen, Lawrence, the nostalgia critic review of it was more than enough that we needed to see. Like, legitimately.
And even then, that was too much.
Yeah. God. That may as well have been the movie.
Yeah, but what were you saying, Ray?
Yeah, I was gonna say, in general, I miss hanging out with you guys. I wouldn't mind, like, indoor movie nights and all that.
Yeah,
When
that's
we
what I'm
sit-
saying. Like, one of the first few, because I kept
Yeah.
saying a few things. Like, once things are back to normal, we should go see a movie. We should go have a hangout at Caesars, because it's been so long since we hung
It's
out
been
with
so
Caesar.
long.
We should go hang out in downtown, like one of our usual downtown hangouts.
Go to Lawrence's place.
We should go to Lawrence's place, have a hangout there, and we should and this is another proposition. Oh, another one, obviously come to my place because we barely come to my
Oh, yeah.
place. But another proposition I'm having right here: we watch Emoji Movie at your place. To finally get that out of the way.
I'm good with that, so long as it's not like the only fucking movie we watched that day.
Oh well, I don't know, Ray. It might be a long movie. I don't know.
Fucking 3 hours Emoji Movie.
3.5 hour movie. It's longer than Lord of the Rings.
It's longer than 300.
It's longer than King Kong. Peter Jackson's King
Peter
Kong.
Jackson's King Kong.
3.5 hour movie. It's like there's so much depth we have to cover.
God. Sony's masterpiece.
Oh, man.
No, but yeah. I mean, I imagine you guys will probably come over like really early anyway, so
Yeah.
We'll just
I mean, yeah, it's true.
we'll
We
knock
can
that
come
out
over
first.
early and we can knock it out and then do other stuff.
do other stuff.
Man, can't wait.
I'm good with that.
How long have we been going? We've been going for.
What do you mean? How long we've been gone? It's been like months since the
No,
pandemic
I'm
started.
talking-
Oh no. It's been months since we've recorded.
2 hours and 12 minutes. Wow, we're doing great,
Wow.
guys.
Yeah.
All right,
Don't
so,
It's
jinx
also-
it.
It
Don't
still felt
jinx
like a
it,
long
please.
one.
Don't jinx it.
so
Hang on, how many topics do we have left? Let me check the list. real quick.
We have 3 left, I think.
1, 2, yeah.
Topics.
left.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about our arch nemesis Sony. What they did today. Well, let's see. They decided to just
Besides the PS5 shit.
they decided to discontinue the Vita essentially.
Well, okay.
Essentially,
Stop.
that's what they fucking
Stop. Stop. I will provide. Cause I act like that because Lawrence fucking loves to like exaggerate so hard with everything, and I'm like, no. What they did was shitty. I'm not gonna lie. Yes, I agree, but they didn't discontinue the Vita. Don't try and spread false information. But what
That's pretty
happened
much what
is
they
Lawrence, please.
did.
What happened? you do notice that, right? Right? He likes to exaggerate a lot. And to be fair,
Yeah.
you sometimes fall into that hole too, like with the whole, oh man, that guy got so angry at Isaac, we kept hearing him yell at him like 18 blocks away, and I'm like, yeah, okay, guys. He he had the biggest megaphone on Earth, and just we could hear him
I
cursing at
mean,
Isaac.
I'm not saying that in the sense that like a half hour later we still heard him, but like in the sense that like we walked away after like 10 seconds and like you could still hear him in the
Well, all right,
distance.
all right. In all fairness, I will absolve you, but Lawrence was absolutely exaggerating that story. He would always be like,
I'll
"We were like
I'll
5
take your
blocks
yeah.
away, and we could
I'll take
still
your word
hear."
for
And I'm
that.
like, "That is not even close to being true."
we were at the deep inside the convention halls and we still heard him.
During the concert, we still heard.
We still
Yeah,
heard
the
this.
rave concert. Yeah.
Oh man, but I love you, Lawrence. Obviously, just in case. But
Fuck you.
all right, I'll just leave.
Oh my
But
god.
what happened is that Sony is preventing people from going into their download list on their Vitas, because on most modern consoles you have a download list you can go back to re-download stuff you might have deleted and so on and so forth, because that download list has everything you've ever downloaded on your account for that system and everything.
Right.
And worldwide, I think even now, no one can access their download list. Like that service is just down. And that's kind of messed up because one, they didn't even like make an announcement, because there's a small possibility that this is just a worldwide issue, like server issue that they still need to fix. I'm hoping that's the case. But as it stands, they haven't said anything about it, and it's kind of fucked up because if it's the latter option that they're just discontinuing the service, they didn't even bring out like news about it. They didn't announce it like Nintendo did with the Nintendo Wi-Fi service being shut down years ago. Back then, they at least gave people notice, like, hey, at this date, we're shutting that service down, so get
Yeah,
everything
give
you
him like
want
a
from
heads
it.
up.
Yeah, like get everything you want out of it now because it'll be gone past this date. They did the same thing with Miiverse when they shut down Miiverse and all that. But then if Sony, if they're truly shutting down the download list service for the Vita, they didn't give anyone a heads up at all. It's just gone. And this really pissed me off because I actually did have a fair amount of downloaded stuff. I had some Vita games, some PSP games, and some PS1 games on my memory card, but I actually had to format my memory card because I was having issues with it. So I had to reformat it to fix the problems. And I downloaded some of the stuff back, but not all of them because I wasn't playing them at the time. So I figured, just later down the line when I decide to replay them or get back to them, I'll re-download like Persona 2 or whatever, as an example. And
Right.
now I can't access those
Fun
games.
fact. Sorry, I'm gonna interrupt and interject here. It has been.
No,
fixed.
I refuse. You can't.
Oh, but it's been fixed.
Oh, has it been fixed?
Yes.
Are you serious?
That's why I was like, Eric, I'm gonna interject. No, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's been fixed.
Wait, hold on. Hold
No,
on.
Lawrence, it's still a problem.
Wait, where do you see this? I want to see it. I want to see
Look
a
it up, man.
Vita download list.
Breaking fucking news.
Was it like recently?
15 hours ago.
15 hours ago?
Yeah.
Hold on. Give me a link. You can't do that?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were looking already. That's why
You
I mean, I
can't do
am, but I
that.
can't find it yet. Relax. So just send me some. Let me
There you
see.
go.
Okay, it's just a 24-hour outage. Thank God. All right. So maybe we should just drop this
Damn.
topic right now. Because we were about to be like, fuck Sony. I can't believe
Nah,
they're just shutting down the Vita download list.
Nah, still, fuck Sony, though.
I mean, yeah, but
No, fuck Sony.
all right, look. I'm not saying no.
Well, hold on. I will say this. How long did it take for them to actually respond and tell people?
I mean, essentially,
Actually,
it's 24 hours,
They
I
also
guess.
didn't respond, really. They just said, it just started working
like
again.
it's like everyone chill out. It's just an outage. It'll be back.
They didn't
I mean,
Like,
I
they
don't
could have
know.
at least done that.
Isn't Push Square like from Sony though, or I don't know.
No,
I don't know,
think so.
because that's the link that Lawrence sent us from Push Square.
Were they? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm asking because I don't know.
I don't know, man.
All right. Well, look. Either way,
No, they're not.
okay. Then yeah, they probably should have announced something officially.
Yeah,
Then.
see, that's the thing. They should have, and that scares me for the future because did you realize how much people like really freaked out like when that happened?
Because like I get it, the Vita was a failure, but people still have them. Like I still have mine. I still use mine. I still plan on using it. I haven't used it in a while,
on it.
but like I know I haven't finished everything I want to play on it.
Yeah.
Hell, I was planning on going back to it next year and playing one of the Vita games that I haven't played on it yet that I bought way back. So it's like, yeah, like who cares if it failed? That you shouldn't do shit like that. And if you're gonna do something like that, you have to give a heads up.
Here's my problem. You know, the fact of the matter is with this entire thing is that, you know, like the fact of the matter is that Sony didn't say anything now. So what happens in the future when they really decide to actually, you know,
I'm going to hope that
service,
they give us a heads up.
Well, they didn't.
I'm going to hope that they give us a fair warning if they decide to permanently shut down that service. Maybe they didn't. They decided it wasn't important here because it was just an outage that was a thing for like 24 hours. I don't know, but I'm going to hope that they give a heads up because I mean, they give a heads up with other stuff like, hey, the PS3 is being discontinued now, so you know, let you guys know and stuff like that. So I assume they would do the same for this.
And I will say this, like, you know, to also back up Eric, the thing too is that Sony, like, they, I forgot my point again.
Damn.
Keep going. I'll remember it.
All right. Well, because I mean, look, I'm not trying to defend Sony per se right now, because like, there's plenty of stuff I will rightfully criticize them on, like the fact that they're going all fucking imperialist America on Asian PS5s, where it's like, I know that y'all have been using Circle as confirmed for like decades, but go to the Expo in like, America, and I'm just like, that's so fucking dumb. And of course, you got dumbass like Westerners that are just like, I don't see the problem. It's like, yeah, you don't see the problem because you're used to X being confirmed.
And
but for Asian folk,
you're benefiting from this.
I mean, they're not benefiting. Literally nothing is changing for Westerners.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's not a benefit, though. How is that a benefit? It's a benefit if you're racist, I guess, and imperialist.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But, like, a lot of people are like, I don't see the issue. It's like, you don't see the issue because it's always been X to confirm for you. So you don't see a problem. But for Asian territories, it's always been Circle to confirm because that's how it is in their culture. Different cultures are a thing. Not everyone is the same, which is why I find that whole change bullshit. And to counteract that point where it's like, oh, it's not a big deal. If it wasn't a big deal, then on that note, we can flip the whole situation on its head and have it the other way around. Sony could be like, you know what, Westerners, Circle is going to be confirmed from now on for you, just like how it is in Japan and so on. And that'd be fucked up too for, you know, the opposite reason where it's like, that's kind of bullshit. For Westerners, X has always been confirmed, so it's kind of annoying to like have to change muscle memory to, you know, go with how the Asian territories does it. Like, I'm not trying to shit on the West and like, you know, praise Asia just cause. Like, I'm doing it because I can totally understand the frustration behind it. Cause I can totally see myself if I was like a Japanese born citizen that, you know, loved playing video games, I could find myself having frustrations with that because all these years, PlayStation 1, 2, and 3, and 4, where it was Circle, to now suddenly go to X, that'd be a huge change. That would be really hard to like manifest into your head. So, you know, there's plenty of shit that Sony does that I'm just like, that's so fucking dumb and that's so stupid and why are you guys like this? But, you know, in this instance, I'm just gonna assume they didn't announce anything because they felt that it wasn't that important since it was just an outage.
But that's the thing. People didn't know it was an outage. Right?
Yeah. I remember my point too, and it actually relates to this very thing. Limited run games actually also believe that, you know, Sony was probably done with the Vita.
True.
Because
you're right.
they put out that statement the other day saying like, you know, it's been an honor like making physical versions of these games, like, you know, basically letting people know like why physical game releases is like very important because it's sometimes it's cool, like the convenience with like digital games, but like eventually they will go away at some point, sometimes even without warning or like a heads up. So it's important to like have some of these games physically on your person, because then they can never take that away from you. Like I think, man, this isn't necessarily Sony, but fucking, the PT demo for like Silent Hills.
Oh,
that was,
Konami. Yeah.
yeah, you cannot transfer that up to PS5. Like your thing will disappear if you try doing that, because
yeah.
Konami like deliberately went in and updated that demo so that you cannot transfer it up. Like
Yep.
if you have
They
a PS4 with a
wanna
demo in it,
erase
do
that
not do
demo from
anything with it.
existence.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that really sucks. I don't want that demo to become lost media.
it fucking sucks, dude. Like you can't even recreate the shit, or they'll give you a cease and desist.
You can't recreate it. You can't re-download it. That's the other thing. Like, if you delete
Yeah.
it off your PS4, if you had it, you wouldn't be able to re-download it. So it's
Yeah,
like,
it's not like
they
every
are
game.
trying to erase it from existence, essentially. Which
So,
is
like,
kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
It's essentially like, if you have a PS4 with the PT demo, don't sell that PS4 and don't delete PT.
Like literally, I think Young put it best. Like his PS4 with the PT demo on it is now his PT cartridge, which is so weird to say.
Oh man, but
Yeah.
Yeah, and see, that was my entire issue with it. It's just like no one was notified that this was just an outage, and that's why people were upset because
Reacting in that way,
And the
because
thing
people
is-
love the Vita.
yeah, and like that's my fear is that like if Sony didn't say something for an outage, like that, and people actually thought it was gone, what happens when it actually is gone? Are they really going to care and say something? They don't say anything whenever an update is available for the Vita. It just shows up and you know it, And it's like they stopped caring years ago. So what makes you think they're going to care when they decide to discontinue the service anyways? It's costing them money at the end of the day, so they don't really care, right? If it'll save them, again, remember, giant corporation, like if they're saving money at the end of the day by discontinuing the service, and they know it won't really negatively affect them, then like what's there to lose for them? I know they probably, just because of I feel like it might even be on the borderlines of wishful thinking that they will come out and say like, hey, it's been a great ride with the Vita, but unfortunately we'll be discontinuing the service if you need
I'm
to
just
get the games.
I'm just gonna hope that they will like announce it, because they announced it for other stuff, like when the PS3 got discontinued all those
Right.
years ago.
Yeah.
So I would assume they would, and they announced it when the Vita got discontinued. So like I will assume they will announce it for when that service goes down.
Especially with like the huge outcry that we just had with like,
Oh
like,
yeah, they got a
clearly
lot of shit for it.
people still care, and obviously they went out of their way to fix it too. So I feel like they probably learned from this and will make that mental note for the future. Like, yeah, when this actually does shut down, like whenever it does, we'll properly announce it and we'll give people a chance to download those games.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I love the Vita. I understand where Sony fucked up. I hate them for like mishandling that console so hard, because to this day I still think it's a really cool piece of tech.
There was a point where I wanted a Vita.
You still should get
Yeah. Yeah,
I still,
I feel like,
kind of do want one.
I mean, hell, if anything, it's easy to hack from what I hear. So there's also that.
Ooh.
From what I hear, it's not too hard to hack, so you could always do that. But yeah,
Yeah.
like I love
Honestly,
the Vita.
I probably should get one anyway, especially because there's that whole thing that it'll probably go down one day. And then in general, there's just a bunch of games that like are not on consoles that I'm missing out on. So
Yeah, so like I totally see the flaws in how Sony handled it. The memory card shit was a huge issue. It was also overpriced as hell when it came out.
Yeah.
Just like the 3DS actually in that regard. A lot of people
Yeah.
forget that the 3DS had a rough start as well. And
Them too.
there just wasn't a lot of support for it, especially on the Western side of things. There was plenty of support for Japanese stuff. And I will go on to say, like, if you are a big like fan of Japanese games and visual novels, the Vita isn't a bad purchase at all. But if you're more into like Western games, then you're gonna have a rough time, because there's really not much. There's like Uncharted And there was Killzone Mercenaries, which I heard was actually pretty decent. There was Gravity Rush is a Japanese game. I don't count that. God, I feel like there's one more. Oh, there was that Tearaway. That was a fun Vita game apparently, although it did get ported to PS4 eventually.
You could also
And-
play Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 on that, which is one of the only ways you can play a Marvel vs. Capcom game on like a, portably.
Yeah, there were a decent amount of ports for it.
Yeah.
So,
and also PlayStation All Stars was on there too.
Oh god, I forgot about that. Yeah,
Which,
and Sly 4.
Funny
For that
enough,
matter.
yeah, and that predates Smash 3DS. And yeah, Sly.
So there's some stuff for like the Western side of things, but not a lot. Japanese side, a lot more, but obviously certain things, some of those VNs and Japanese games are a bit niche. Obviously, the one that is not niche is Persona 4 Golden at that point, but even that game eventually got ported to Steam earlier this year, if I recall correctly. So or maybe it was 2019. I can't remember. But the Vita was a cool piece of tech. I still think it's really cool. I still love holding it and messing around with it. I still have mine, and I don't plan on parting with it anytime soon. I still have plenty of stuff I want to play on it eventually, which is why I still keep it around. And I'm glad I bought it. It was $200, but I still think it was $200 well spent. I played a ton of stuff on it. I played P4G, 2 playthroughs of it. I played through P3P, 2 playthroughs of that. As just some nostalgic comfort food, I guess, because I already played P3 a ton back in the day. I played through one of the routes in P1. I played through VLR and ZTD on my Vita. I played through GTA, some of the GTA games on PSP on my Vita. Like there was plenty of stuff. I got my money's worth and then some from it. So I don't regret my purchase, despite how much Sony squandered on it.
That's fair. I think I think every time we're on here we talk about the Vita, we always talk about how much we enjoyed it. And I'll be honest, I enjoyed it. I really did. And I still do. Like when I get a chance to pick it up, it still feels so good to pick up. It feels good in my hands. It feels good like just to, have a little fun with it. And so it kind of makes me upset when it made me really upset after all that, because the thing about the Vita is that I had with those proprietary memory cards, it's so stupid. And the 64 gigabyte you can only import it from Japan, and the 32 gigabyte
I hated that.
Expensive.
64 gig was only in Japan.
On its own, it costs a fourth of the console. Like the memory card, it's so stupid for 32 gigs. Like, come on. Like,
bro, when the Vita launched, like the OG model with the OLED screen, if you bought the 3G version, I think it was almost $400, something like that.
I remember that.
So it was way too overpriced.
There was also the fact that the Vita is the successor for all intents and purposes to the PSP.
It is. It's the handheld successor.
Right, and the PSP itself, I remember back in the day, was like a huge console, or handheld console.
I love the PSP.
Yeah, for as much Game Boys as you saw back in the day, you saw as many PSPs. So you would expect the Vita to live up to that legacy. And I'm not saying obviously it's not a great console. It is. It's just that unfortunately it wasn't really handled all too well as the PSP was.
Yeah,
it seems that way.
Yeah, GBA, that was a huge handheld console, and that sold around 80-something million copies, I think, the GBA across all versions. DS was a huge success, 150-something million, the last time I checked. But the PSP wasn't a slouch. It didn't beat the DS, no sir, because it's kind of hard to beat the DS, but it had comparable sales to the Game Boy Advance, which was a huge console.
Yeah.
The PSP had around 80 million sold as well. It was a success, and I can totally see why.
Yeah, and one could argue that it could even replace your Game Boy Advance at that time because it had an emulator for Game Boy Advance games.
Yeah, you could very easily hack it for stuff like that.
If you don't care about multiplayer stuff and all that, there you go. There's an option.
Yeah, the PSP was a great system, and you can tell because they made a fucking shit ton of versions of it. There was like the 1000, then the 2000, then the 3000,
Yeah.
then the PSP Go, then there was like one model that I think only came out in Europe, but it was kind of shitty. I forgot what it was called though, like the PSP Street or something like that. Like there was a lot of it.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff.
And oftentimes we do make fun of the UMD movie thing, but like at the same
Hey,
time,
man.
it was a pretty cool convenience to like, hey, if I wanted to, I can also watch movies in like a somewhat clear resolution on this system. And obviously, we all know like Game Boy Video wasn't going to be that shit in terms of like how much was available and in terms of the picture quality.
Yeah, and the UMD stuff, UMD movie. I mean, UMD as a format was a bad move. Like they should have just went with cartridges, because UMDs aren't able to hold that much storage. That's why so many games had the option to install a portion of it to the memory card so that it runs better. And I definitely do recommend that if you play, old PSP games on an actual PSP, because it is definitely useful and you definitely notice the improvements on stuff like Persona 3 Portable as an example. But besides stuff like the whole UMD format and the memory sticks being, specifically Sony memory sticks, they should have just went with, regular SD cards. It was a good system. It had Wi-Fi like the DS and other stuff. It had a lot of multimedia features like music and all that, but it had a lot of quality games. It really did, both on the Japanese and on the Western side, I'd say. I still say there were more amazing Japanese games on the PSP than Western games, but I mean, it still had 2 God of War games. You got 2 Metal Gear Solid games. You got Daxter. You got that other Jack and Daxter game, which isn't all that great, but it was something. You got I know I'm missing another one, but I can't quite remember it off the top of my head. I think there was like there was some Ratchet and Clank games on the PSP.
Oh,
like
yeah.
they supported it through and through. And when we talk about the Japanese side of things, I mean, there's a lot. There was like the remake of Mega Man 1 and Mega Man X. There was all the Final Fantasy games on there, Crisis Core. There was a ton of good shit on the PSP, man. Like just all across the board. Especially if you loved RPGs. That thing was like an RPG machine.
I mean, like, we go into JNL, like, all the time, at least we used to before, like, pre-pandemic, and we always saw, like, the huge, like, PSP library that they had over there. Like, there was this little section for PS Vita, but there was also, like, the much considerably larger, like, PSP stuff that they had.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and, I mentioned it earlier with Vita, but, like, the GTA PSP games, like Vice City Stories, Liberty City.
Oh, yeah. There's that, too. Like, GTA on the go. There you go.
Little Big Planet, I think, had one thing on there, so there was stuff to play for sure.
Couple of things with the PSP. The UMDs, one of the things also, like, those cases were really bad. Like the ones that held the CDs, they were really bad.
Oh, yeah.
Were they?
They broke so... most of mine are broken.
I guess, if you don't take good care of them, like if you don't have a case.
Damn, he's indicting Lawrence right there. It's like, I guess Lawrence just didn't take good care of them.
I wasn't saying it like that.
And here's the thing, I didn't exactly treat them as frisbees and throw them all over the place.
Motherfucker was playing hockey with them. Yo, Eric, catch!
Yo, free games!
And then it hits the wall and breaks, and then Lawrence is like, wow, I can't believe they messed it up that badly. Awful cases.
And I put them, I kept them all in one case. Like, I tend to try to keep all my games in one place, like in one box or whatever. And so I kept them in, the case that I kept my PSP in. And I kid you not, maybe 3 or 4 of them are broken. And, they still work, but, it's still kind of, it's kind of shitty. Because the cases are made out of thin plastic, right? It's so flimsy.
All right, I will give you this, but I will be perfectly honest. I never had any issues with the cases myself. But I will admit the plastic did seem flimsy, so I can definitely see them shattering if you didn't take good care of them, like Lawrence did.
Yeah.
What the hell? Anyways, and so my other issue is I get that the 3DS isn't really all that demanding in terms of hardware and stuff like that, but I put in a 32GB memory card in there, and I swear my entire library is on there. I can play every single game on there. It's so and I still have like at least maybe 80% of the space still left. And I'm just like, you're telling me that I download 2 or 3 games on the Vita, and all of a sudden I'm like, I've used 28 gigabytes, and 4 of the gigabytes is for software and shit like that. And so it's like, where is my, where's the time? Like where's the space? Where's this going? Why am I using essentially a scaled down version of a AAA game space on a tiny handheld? Like, I don't have that space. I feel like Sony should have definitely, like, dealt with that probably a little better. I know this is kind of like pre-Switch where your games can be kind of, your game consoles can take a 1 terabyte SD card, right? And so, but it just really sucks. It's just like, yeah, all of my space is still pretty much intact on my 3DS, but like none of my space is intact on my PS Vita because I installed all the games I want, and I still have so many games left in my like downloads. Like you can download from the store, and that's why I was also freaking out too when the news came out, because I was like, yeah, I still have games that I should download, but I don't have the space for them because Sony's memory cards are trash.
Are there no unofficial ones that like reliably
There is an adapter that, and Eric told me about this, I think a year ago, that yeah, now we can just buy like an SD card and the adapter, and we can just use a regular micro SD card now.
Mhm.
But
I guess
too
that's
little
good.
too late because it came out recently, like within the last 2 or 3 years, and by then the Vita's life was already like pretty much dead. So it's like it came out way too late. It's not even a Sony product. It's not. It's a third party product. And,
I see.
And so that part also, it sucks. It really does. Obviously the OLED screen, it looks a lot nicer than the screen that they ended up settling with the second generation of the Vitas. And even Eric will say, because I think he agrees with me with that, and he's actually the one that thinks that as well. The OLED screen is just so much better. There's a lot of things about the Vita that are just like, man, that console was honestly ahead of its time in a lot of ways. Like, it was the original Switch, right? It was a touchscreen, like, console, big enough screen to play, like, your AAA games and whatnot. And you can just do, you can hang out and do whatever on it. Like, it had a really good user interface too. Like, I thought that was kind of fun, little bubbles and stuff. But it just like it kind of is just kind of disheartening, I guess, in a little bit, in that Sony really kind of mistreated that console, to be honest. And I mean, first off, the price point. I'm not like, people will pay $300 for a Switch now because it's $300 is considered cheap for a console now, right? Like, that's the lower end for a console. But back then, $300, that was breaking an arm and leg for that. Like, the Wii U was $300 and it didn't sell well, right? What makes you think that? And that was a home console. What makes you think people are going to pay $300 for a portable console? It's just not, like, wrong time, wrong situation.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that if Sony came out with the Vita now with like a bunch of like, quality of life changes and stuff like that, improved graphics and stuff like that, I feel like they'd be able to like do good numbers, honestly. And like, integrate it with like being able to play on like a PS5 or whatever. Like, I feel like there's just so much missed opportunity there. But yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to like, the UMD disc, yeah, they were kind of flimsy in my opinion, and so I'm glad that they switched to the cartridges. But God, those cartridges are so small. They're tinier. They're about, I think they're even tinier than Switch cartridges.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's
I remember the size of them now.
which is good. I mean, it's good for storage because I can keep them all in like one
Yeah.
pocket, and one small pocket in my in my
They also.
game case.
Sorry, you guys say?
Go ahead.
I was gonna be like, don't the games also like load faster on the cartridges?
Yeah, they do. They do. I don't really like. I do. Again, I don't have many installed games on the card because of the space issue. But when
Mhm.
with the games that I do have the cartridges of, like, yeah, they do load pretty fast. I don't know. I'll be honest. I feel like from what I've experienced from the Vita, you know, it's not worth paying $300 for it, but it's worth paying maybe 170. I paid, I think, 170 for mine. I got mine, I think, used. So I would
For the Vita itself,
yeah, it's not bad. All
not bad.
things considered, I got
Yeah,
I just the only thing I didn't get was the box, which is fine. I don't really need a box.
which yeah, it's completely fine.
Yeah. This I think that was my first used console. It was the Vita. But it was renewed.
As long as it was in like good condition, you
Oh
know.
yeah, it was in good condition, so I didn't really mind about it. And this was like 3 years ago, so you know I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every minute that I had it. I played. I think I played the Amazing Spider-Man game on there, and I played.
You had a Persona 3.
Yeah, of course I played Persona 3, but that's a PSP game.
Oh
Which is
yeah,
also good. It emulates PSP games really nicely. The backwards compatibility, you know, of a downloaded PSP game is great.
yeah.
Um, I did play one game in its entirety. I just don't remember which one. I don't know, but yeah, it. You know, I have a lot of fond memories with that. But I'll be honest, you know, the the PSP I feel like had a little more stability for it. It also was really it's really easy to hack. I hacked my PSP back in the day, and it was easy, very easy to do. And it let me put like digital games on there. Like that was when I was introduced to digital gaming. It was through it was through the PSP.
Hey, I'm back.
Yeah, so
You.
I was just shitting on the PS Vita. The
You were
entire
shitting on the PS Vita?
No, I'm kidding. No, I was just talking about like how you know, if Sony were to have released like the Vita now with like a bunch of quality of life changes to meet with modern time standards, I feel like they would do pretty well. I feel like
I mean, just
I was saying
market the
that
damn thing.
yeah, I was
That they
saying
barely marketed it.
yeah, I was saying that like
There
you
was that
know
too.
the problem is that it was a good console, and I feel like in general it might have actually been just ahead of its time, and probably the price point wasn't there. But if you marketed a $300 portable console now, people will buy it because that's the lower grade now, right? Like a Switch is $300. Like that's how much you're paying for a portable console now. Yeah, I know it's a home console too, but I mean that's what you're paying for, right? Because you were talking about like the 3G version was $400, and you know, and the
I
300
think it was like either 350 or 4, something like.
and the regular version was like $300 pretty much. And so back
Yeah, but
then,
you know the model that I bought and the how much a Vita goes nowadays is like 200.
yeah, I bought mine for 170 used.
Yeah.
And I was saying how like your favorite was the OLED screen was just more, you know.
Yeah, you have the first model because there's two models of the Vita, the OG model and then the slimmer model. And there's pros and cons to both because the first model just feels better in terms of like the material. Like the material on the Vita Slim feels a bit more cheaper compared to the more pristine materials used for the OG Vita. And the OG Vita also has the OLED screen, which is just a lot more beautiful than the regular LCD screen that the Vita Slim has. The downside of the Vita OG Vita though, compared to and the pros of the Vita Slim is that the Vita Slim, while yes the screen isn't as good, it has a better battery life as a result. I think like 2 to 3, maybe even 4 more hours of battery life, probably like 2 or 3 though, which is notable because you know it's a portable system. You having a good battery life is kind of a selling point for handhelds. So that's like double-edged sword. Like the screen is a little worse, but the battery life is longer. It also has bigger grips on the bottom for like your palms and stuff. And it also has like 2 gigabytes of internal storage, which the OG Vita didn't have any internal storage.
Right.
So there's that too. So like, there's pros and cons to both models. It just kind of depends on what you want and what's available, I guess. I got the Vita Slim model because I just didn't really mind, honestly. So I've seen the OLED screen because Lawrence has the OG model, and the OLED screen is beautiful. But I don't mind the difference too much, so I'm fine with my Vita Slim.
Right. Yeah, I think, especially with all of this, it's just I think I just think that like the Vita, there are a lot of improvements in general that probably would, besides marketing, obviously they really should have marketed it better. But
They should have marketed better, and they should have had more support for it.
yeah, and
Because the Vita wasn't that much of an. It was fairly successful in Japan. The problem is it wasn't all that successful in the West. The PSP was successful basically both ways, you know. And I guess, one thing I should probably clarify from something I was talking about earlier, where I mentioned, like, the PSP had, Western games like Metal Gear Solid and all that. And I know some people might be like, wait, but Metal Gear is like a Japanese series because it's from Konami and all that. It's like, to be more specific, I should probably say, like, games that appeal to the Western audience. Because Metal Gear Solid is a Japanese developed game, obviously, but it has a lot of Western appeal. Like, Metal Gear is huge in America. I don't know if it might be more popular in America than in Japan. I'm not sure. I know that is the case for some franchises, like Metroid, apparently. But that's kind of a tricky situation because you have to consider per capita when it comes to the sales. Because obviously Japan is going to have less sales than the U.S. because Japan has like a third of the population that the U.S. has. So that's a tricky situation, but I mostly just wanted to be specific and say games that appeal to the Western audience, because there was plenty that appealed to the Western audience for the PSP. It's just for the Vita, not as much.
yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I think in general, when I'm thinking about the Vita, it's like it really did have a lot of good stuff. I was saying the UI is great. I love the bubbles. It had all your multimedia. It had all the like Netflix and Hulu and stuff like that, which was fun. It had, it pushed a lot of the digital gaming stuff, which was really cool.
Yeah, there was even some a fair amount of like indie stuff on Vita as well. So there's that.
Yeah. My only problem was absolutely with space. Like space was a huge
Yeah,
issue for me.
the marketing, the game support, at least for the game support that had games appealing to the Western audience, and the memory cards were like the big three things that really killed the Vita, I think.
Yeah.
And I guess like the price point, because it was pretty expensive when it came out. But I mean, I guess a lot of handhelds just have that problem, because even the 3DS had that problem at first.
Of course it did. But yeah, I that's kind of also what I think too. But I liked, in terms of the 3DS. I think 3DS was absolutely, it is one of those things that I enjoyed, I think, fondly, just because I was still kind of growing up into that Nintendo phase. And I was just, at the time, I was just barely like trying to figure out what, like, next gen console was gonna be like, with like Xbox 360, and I hadn't owned an Xbox 360 yet. And I don't even remember Sony really marketing all the PS Vita, because they didn't. And so that's why it wasn't even really an option for me. I was just like, man, 3DS, go Nintendo. And I had the blue one originally, but yeah, I don't know. I think I definitely enjoyed the 3DS more than I did the Vita.
I mean, yeah, like, look, I love the Vita, and I will always vouch for it. I really do. I think it's an awesome piece of tech. I have mine out right now because I want to check my download list to see if it works. But and it does, thank God, so I can download all my shit again when I need to.
There's
That's
actually,
good.
I think you should. There's a way to download the game files onto your computer or something like that, and people are saying you should probably do that now. I don't know how it works, but that's what people were saying. Like, thank God I have all my Vita game files on my computer.
I also heard that apparently you could perhaps like download it off of your PS3 and then transfer it from your PS3 to your Vita, but I don't have a PS3 at the moment, so
Yeah.
there's
That's
that too.
what I heard as well. So I think, you know, if there's a way to save that, I probably would, just so that I always have access to it in the future.
Yeah, but yay, my games are on here, VLR and stuff, because I got VLR digitally actually, and some other stuff, so that's cool. And Fate Extra, I think I have Fate Extra downloaded, don't I? Let's see. I do. Okay. But yeah, the Vita, as much as I vouch for, yeah, I definitely enjoyed the 3DS more, because the 3DS had a large library of quality games. I mean, like, at first, it's honestly kind of stunning, because, like I've mentioned, the 3DS actually had a bit of a rocky start at first. And it's kind of mesmerizing me to think about, you know, the early year or two where the 3DS was just not doing super well, because once it started picking up steam, it just skyrocketed, and it became one of the best systems Nintendo has ever done, I'd say. They started pumping out a lot of quality games. They dropped the price point of the 3DS. They also introduced some new models, which was cool, and some new variants like special editions. I know some people go nuts for that. And they were introducing some new features like Virtual Console for SNES games if you had the newer 3DSs, and so on and so forth. And another thing to consider, and I do think this is fair, the 3DS is backwards compatible with the DS, which in itself had a huge stellar library. So the 3DS just had a lot of value to it.
Yeah. And
It still pretty much does, because, like, you know, nowadays we want to get our hands on just so we can re-experience like a lot of that library, because there's still a ton of shit to play on that, even with the Switch being the primary like handheld console now.
Yeah, I'm actually glad you mentioned that, because I know some of my online friends and a lot of people on social media in general was kind of expressing frustration that the 3DS was being supported for as long as it did, because it was being supported like 2 years after the Switch came out. The 2019 was like the last
Nintendo.
Like 2019 was like the last year where like major 3DS games came out. And in all fairness, they do have kind of a point. Some of the last few 3DS games that came out kind of bombed. Like the Bowser's Inside Story remake didn't sell very well at all, to the point where it killed Alpha Dream and they had to file for bankruptcy, which sucks because I love Mario and Luigi. The Persona Q2, cool game, but it did not sell well at all, very very well at all, even in Japan.
Yeah,
and that says a lot, because Persona 5 was very popular just across the board. And I think even like Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn or whatever it was called, that like Wii port to 3DS, it didn't sell super well either. So like, you know, in a way they have a point in that it was kind of weird that they were supporting the 3DS as long as it was, because some of those last few games just weren't selling as well. But I do disagree in one sentiment that I saw a lot of on social media, where people were just like, "I'm done with the 3DS. No, I don't want to touch it anymore. Just move on." And I don't know. I don't feel the same way. I still love my 3DS. I still like using it, even with my Switch, and I have plenty of stuff to play on the Switch. I still have plenty of stuff to play on the 3DS that I want to get around to. Hell, I'm actually currently playing the Superstar Saga remake. You know, the remake of the first Mario and Luigi game. I'm playing that on my 3DS currently, and on my Switch, I'm just playing some smaller stuff. Like I bought the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle because it was on sale on Switch, so I've just been playing through some of those beat 'em up games just on the side when I want to kick back and relax. But my main game right now is actually on the 3DS, so I still think there's a lot of value to this system, and I know I'm going to be playing it for years to come.
Right, and you know, we always have this conversation, like, you know, refurbished, you know, improved, modified Game Boy Advance again, because, you know, that in and of itself had a whole library, and just because it's no longer supported by Nintendo and it's an old console doesn't mean that, you know, we can't just go back and play it, because, you know, like, you know, the Game Boy Advance, the DS, the 3DS all have expansive libraries. There's still a lot of games I haven't played on those systems, and you know, I would like to go back one of these days and just re-experience what I missed out on, because, you know, as kids we couldn't have access to like every game like ever created, but like nowadays it's getting a little more easier, because like with these mom and pop shops, they have a whole archive of these games, and some of them are thankfully like not as expensive as like they kind of were used to be. And, you know, we've also been able to improve these older consoles, because now we have like we have improved NESs, we have improved SNESs, and like PlayStations and all that. Like we can hook up our freaking Nintendo 64 to modern TVs now and all that. And so like it's cool. Like we can, just because we have all these newer systems doesn't mean that we have to throw away or stop playing these old ones. Because like I get the whole thing with like not supporting it anymore, but like at the same time, it doesn't mean we gotta stop playing it. And at the same time, it's like we talked about earlier, Sony and Nintendo, it's gonna, if it even ever happens, it's gonna take a really long time for them to start adding like a shit ton of their backlog onto like their modern consoles. Because like I would like for backwards compatibility to come to PlayStation 5 for like PS3, PS2, PS1. As impossible as it sounds, I would like to still kind of see it in the future, even if it's not at launch. And I would like to see Nintendo bring like a lot of their like older systems back, because there's like a rumor. I think you might have talked about it the other day, that like
I think I know
Game Boy
exactly what you mean.
Advance. Yeah,
There was a rumor that Game Boy Advance games might be coming to Switch. It turned out to be false. It said it's coming tomorrow. Tomorrow was 2 days ago, and we haven't heard anything. But maybe it could happen later.
yeah.
I don't know.
If that does happen, I feel like, because the Game Boy Advance had a lot of great games, so that could be like a legitimate like way to sell the subscription service. I would still like to see them improve the rate of which they post fucking games on there, but I feel like that can really help, because a lot of people really love the Game Boy Advance, and to have that on the Switch is a huge deal in my opinion. I mean, it was a huge deal to get Game Boy Advance games on the 3DS. Period. I mean,
what's funny?
yeah, Game Boy Advance on the 3DS. Yeah.
Ray's reaction just now is like, I'd like to see them improve the fucking way they release they release the games on there, and I'm like, oh my god, Ray.
I mean, it's true to some extent.
Fucking assholes.
Bitch.
Bitch.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
In conclusion, 3DS over Vita. Anyways.
I thought you were gonna be like, in conclusion, fuck Sony.
Fuck Sony. Seriously.
How about this though? In regards to the whole 3DS versus Vita, I named some of the Vita stuff I played a ton of, and I'm really fond of. How about 3DS games that we're fond of? Just to shout some of those out.
I played a lot. Obviously, I played VLR a lot for a long time. So that was one. I obviously played a lot of Pokemon games.
Oh yeah, the older Pokemon games on there.
Yep, Pokemon.
I didn't play a lot of I didn't play Majora's
Mario
Mask
3D
or
Land was a great
Ocarina of
game.
Time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love that game, Mario 3D Land. I thought it was a great handheld game.
Yeah.
I also I played New Super Mario Bros. 2, and I know New Super Mario Bros. As a series is kind of stale, but it's still a good game overall. I had fun with it. Don't go for 9,999. You'll want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
You're struggling this hard, really?
Yeah, because I don't.
This guy kept going, guys, let's be real here. 3DS over Vita. Oh, cool. Let's name some of our favorite 3DS games, and he's just drawing a blank.
It's like that. It's like that meme was like, "Oh, you're a 3DS fan. Name every 3DS game in the system's lifespan."
But this is the opposite, where Lawrence is just not naming anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so I didn't play a lot of the Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask when they came out, but I did play a good amount of them to justify that I liked it on there. I do have Luigi's Mansion and on there also. The Senran Kagura game was really good. I also played the One Piece game, which me and Ray went on a trek to go and find it.
I remember this.
Had an adventure, went across the country to find it.
We found the One Piece.
We did. Well, yeah,
They found it before Luffy.
We found it on Fordham Road, man.
Damn.
Luffy's coming to Fordham Road in the series finale.
Yeah.
Go.
I played most of ZTD until that last minute.
Man, you're struggling a lot, which is kind of surprising because you kept going on and on about how
Oh,
3DS
Fire
was
Emblem.
king.
Oh, duh, I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
Fire
I'm
Emblem.
like, oh my god, this guy's not gonna mention Fire Emblem. That's kind of stunning. Isn't your fucking wife from Fire Emblem?
Isn't your
barefoot
wife?
You're right.
Corin,
No, okay,
hello?
Right. No, but
You're gonna have to apologize to her later. I'm just saying.
But I
Eric's like,
but
Corin, divorce Florence.
I prefer Awakening.
that would kill
I
him.
preferred Awakening
Jeez.
over Birthright Conquest and Fate.
Revelations.
What?
Revelations
Oh,
was the third one.
Yeah, I forgot the.
What did you say, Fate?
Yes, I said Fate.
Oh my god. You said no, that's not. What? Wait, what? Did you
Fate.
really say Feet was the
no,
third
it was
route?
Because it's like it says Fates. Yes, I thought.
No,
I said it was Fates.
that's the name.
Yeah, I know. It's the name.
That's
of the
the
game.
name of the Fates, but there's 3 routes. There's Birthright, Conquest, and Revelations. They did that like the whole Pokemon thing, where it was like 2 separate versions, and then Revelations was DLC, unless you got the special edition, which came with all 3 in one cartridge.
Oh yeah, that's why I got the special edition right.
Yeah.
And this is the moment where Eric's like, idiot.
Yeah.
I still love the way Eric's like,
Yeah.
idiot.
Right?
Yeah.
We
I
played a
was
lot
so
of-
stunned when he took this long to mention Fire Emblem. I'm like, your wife is literally from Fire Emblem, and you're just not mentioning it.
we played
She's gonna
quite
be
a bit
so
of-
devastated.
We played quite a bit of Triforce Heroes. That was fun.
Yeah,
While it lasted.
we didn't finish it.
Yeah, we gave it a shot at least.
Yeah, it was fun while it lasted.
You know, that was
Link
also,
Between
that was also the Link Between Worlds.
Oh,
But what were you
I
gonna
didn't
say?
play that one.
That was also the really fun stuff about like the handheld systems, getting to play online with your friends and like
yeah.
having all these like whether it's like adventures or just battling each other, like it was always a fun time.
Yeah. Also, since Lawrence is taking like 18 centuries to name like
I got
3
one.
3DS games,
I got one.
all right, what do you got? What do you got?
Sun. Pokemon Sun. I spent maybe...
You said Pokemon earlier. That doesn't count anymore.
No, but like
All
I
right.
spent objectively more hours on Pokemon Sun than any of the other 3DS Pokemon games. I think I spent maybe...
But you already mentioned Pokemon.
Sure. Hyrule Warrior Legends, I definitely paid a lot of that. But I didn't really enjoy it as much because it was on the, 3DS version is kind of like...
I mean, if you play it on the new 3DS, it's fine. If you play it on the old 3DS, it's basically unplayable.
Oh yeah, I remember Ray tried to play it and none of the
Oh,
frames were
yeah.
loading.
And the
Fucking
frame rate
2
was
frames per
so bad. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, this should have just been
Yeah.
new 3DS exclusive.
Like we weren't even excited, like we were just seeing like, oh, what would happen if like we put this game in a regular 3DS and we saw how it ran. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, we saw it and like enemies were literally just disappearing out of nowhere. It's just like
Yeah.
poof.
It's like I mentioned Game Boy Video way earlier. It's like how Shrek was on there at one point, and the frame rate on one of the versions of that, because there was one that I think came with Shrek and Shark Tale, and the frame rate chugs on that movie on the Game
Because
Boy
there's
Advance
2
version.
movies on it.
Because there's 2 movies on it, and to try to fit them both on there. If you buy the regular Shrek one with just that movie on it, it'll run fine. But like the other one is like it's like freaking 10 frames per
It's like
second or something.
slideshows.
Slideshows.
Yeah. All right. So Lawrence is still struggling, so I'll just
No,
help
I'm
him
done.
out.
I'm done.
Star Fox 64 3D,
Oh, I
the
didn't
remake
play
of
those.
Star Fox 64. Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D, the port of the Wii game, and the definitive version, because playing the Wii version is dumb. Because of the force
Shantae
motion
Pirate's
controls.
Curse, which made its debut on there.
Yep, there you go. And from a lot of accounts, that's still the best Shantae game, from what I hear. I haven't
Oh,
played
yeah.
the series yet, but
It's all good.
that's just what I hear. I was gonna mention Metroid Samus Returns, the remake of Metroid 2, which I had a good time with.
So Eric is now the personification of that meme where like name every single train in existence, and he just
And then I
names
name every train,
single
yes.
one.
Name every train.
There was also plenty of Atlas games on 3DS, like
Yeah.
Devil Survivor 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah.
The remake of Strange Journey,
Oh,
SMT4, SMT4
Persona
Apocalypse, Persona Q, Persona
series.
Q2. Yep.
Yeah.
Some other RPGs on there, like Etrian Odyssey. There was a lot of Etrian Odyssey games from what I remember. There was Bravely Default, Bravely Second. There was Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance was originally on 3DS before it got ported to PS4. There's a lot. I don't know why Lawrence took
I didn't
like
play a
18.
good amount of those though.
I mean, you've heard of them though.
Oh yeah, but I didn't play it, so I can't, it's none of my favorite.
I didn't play it, so it doesn't exist.
Well, it's not in my favorites because I didn't play it yet.
They still were a thing though. That's
Yeah,
like if
but
I didn't play Breath of the Wild, but I just didn't mention it when we talked about like best Switch games.
Oh well, you said favorites.
Did I?
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
So I was like, oh yeah, I'm just naming the
I
ones
thought
that
I said
played.
like just like shout out some of like the big 3DS
Oh,
games.
yeah,
But I guess
I
if
think
it's
it would've been
favorites,
easier.
then it would have to be the only ones you played.
Mario Kart 7.
Oh yeah, Mario Kart 7.
Oh
There you
yeah,
go.
Smash, of course.
Smash
Right,
of course.
I almost forgot. Yeah, Smash 3DS was a fun time, and then
I
it died
had a
once
lot of
Wii
time
U
into
came
that.
out.
Project X Zone
Yep.
2. That was so good.
What game?
Project X Zone 2.
Oh, I never
Cross
played that
yeah,
one.
The Capcom crossover.
with
Phoenix
SNK,
Wright.
I believe, and Sega.
Yeah. So good. I enjoyed a good amount of that. And that's
Hmm.
how we met Ben, who, by the way, did you know he's TikTok famous
Ben
now?
10.
Ben 10 TikToking.
No. Ben Douglas.
Ben
You
10.
remember? Do you actually remember?
No.
We met him at a J&L at one time.
Yes. Oh, Ben. He's TikTok famous.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, our friend Ben.
He's TikTok famous now.
Does he remember?
Oh wow.
Yeah, I
I feel like he
his
would.
stuff on Facebook.
It's
all
just
the
been a
time,
really
and
long time.
He comments back.
It's
He's
been
like, "Oh, thank
forever
you,
since we
man."
talked to him.
Yeah, because I noticed he was TikTok famous, and I commented on one of his stuff, and I said, "Yo, dude, that's so dope. I'm so proud of you. You did so good."
I'm so proud of you, son.
Well, because when we met him, he was a worker at Whole Foods, and he hated his job, and he was almost homeless. He was telling us. And then he just out of nowhere, and he even gave Henry a job. I remember for like a week or something like that at Whole Foods, and then Ben quit, and then Henry just left too. But Ben, he ended up working a concierge job. He worked at a desk at a really really extravagant building. He literally said that he sits at his desk for 16 hours, and that's all he does at the building. He's just sitting at the
And he
desk
gets paid to sit there.
Yeah, he said he got a decent salary for it. And so instead, he said during that time what he did is he bought a drawing tablet and he started working on his art while he was there. And then he also came up with ideas for TikToks. And then the quarantine happened. He just became TikTok famous.
So now he just makes money off TikTok?
I think he probably makes some money from TikTok, but I
So
know he
but
still
like
works.
where's he getting his income from? Because I assume he's not working that desk
Oh,
job.
he's still doing the desk job because he can.
Oh, okay.
The desk job. But in addition to everything he's doing, he's also TikTok famous.
Wow, how many
And
like
he's
followers?
getting
and views
married!
does he get? Wait, how many followers and like views and stuff is he
I can figure
getting on
that out.
TikTok?
But anyways, he's getting married too.
Wow, really? I didn't even know he was dating someone.
That's what I didn't. He'll really surprise you.
So when they got married like this year, or they're
No, he's
planning
getting
like
married.
after the pandemic?
Yeah, he's getting married.
So after the pandemic, they're like planning the wedding and all that. I assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
Wow,
know
that's awesome.
much
Good for
about
him. We
Yeah.
haven't
Yeah.
seen him in so long. So at first I was like, who are you talking about? Who's Ben? And then I remember it's like, oh right, Ben.
Yeah.
It started with an alien device and what it did.
Did what it did. What lyrics?
Yeah,
But,
honestly, it's good for him. Like he.
Yeah, good for him. I'm happy to hear that he's doing okay.
Yeah. He really.
Maybe one day we can hang out again because it's been like years.
Yeah,
But,
the last time we hung out with, I remember the last time we hung out with him, it was just completely out of the blue because we were
Right, because we were near him. Like you noticed that he was like at Macy's or whatever, and we were right next to Macy's.
And we're
Like
like,
it said
"Yo,
it on
you wanna
Facebook
hang
or
out?"
something.
yeah, it was H&M, and we're like, yo, you want to hang out? And you're like, yeah. And then Henry was with us, and Henry walks up to him, and he's like, hello, black friend who wasn't here before. I was
Like fellow black friend. I'm like, okay, wow. I get that I'm like
And they
light
helped
skinned,
each
but
other.
jeez.
it was so funny. But you
That
know
Yeah.
was pretty funny. But I'm glad those two hit it off though. I had a feeling they would
Yeah.
hit it off.
Yeah, me too.
They didn't start dating. It almost sounds like it was like a romance
Jeez.
hit off, but you know.
Hey, man. You never know. No, I'm kidding.
He's
Why you
Ben's
get-
getting married. Are
Do
you
not
serious?
finish that, sir.
I love it. He's like, do not finish that sentence, sir.
Oh, what was that?
Oh no,
Someone
I'm
was
on
singing in the
TikTok
background.
I'm trying to find his page. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I guess
Who
shout
was
out some other like 3DS stuff. Mario and Luigi games. There was the Superstar Saga remake, which is pretty good. I'd say I'm not done with it yet, but I'd say it's pretty good overall. There was Dream Team. There was Paper Jam, which I heard kind of things about, but I haven't played it myself. There was the Bowser's Inside Story remake, which I hear isn't as good as the regular version on DS, and I still question why they chose to remake that game. Because it's like, bro, you can kind of play Bowser's Inside Story on a 3DS already anyway. Like Superstar Saga made sense because that was a GBA game and that's not compatible with 3DS. So that was the only Mario and Luigi game you can't play on a 3DS. But like Bowser's Inside Story, the 3DS is backwards compatible to DS. Alpha Dream, what is you doing? But you know,
Yeah.
it is what it is. But you know, lots of stuff clearly as we've demonstrated on the 3DS that are worth playing.
Yeah.
And that's not even getting into like virtual console stuff, like with SNES, NES games, Game Boy Color games. So yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, backwards compatible with DS, so the entire DS library, outside of specific titles that had gimmicky stuff like the Guitar Hero games on DS, you can play them on 3DS. I played 999 on my 3DS, and I plan on playing The World Ends With You on my 3DS.
Mhm.
So yeah.
I think.
All right. What were you gonna say?
I still really feel like playing my 3DS. Like actually though, like.
Yeah, I
it's
still
not
enjoy
something-
playing it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you just got it back fixed now, and I have your copy of Zero Time Dilemma ready to go. So
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm actually like looking forward to finally finishing that game after so long.
a little
I
update,
always
ladies
like.
and gentlemen,
I would
he
always
got his game back.
Yeah. I would always tease Lawrence about that game because I'm like, bro, it's only like 24 hours long to get through all the routes. Like, just finish it at this point. You're like delaying the inevitable. Like, you're delaying it so hard. It's been years at this point. Just finish it.
Yeah, and then I can finally play
Finish
the other
it.
stuff on
Yeah.
3DS. I really can't find his TikTok. Holy shit! I don't remember what his name is on there.
Hmm.
Anyways, and when I find it, I'll
We'll
send
find
to you
it,
guys,
yeah.
But yeah, I think I think that's a good place to call it now.
I think
That
so
is
too.
actually
Yeah.
a great place
Yeah.
to call it. That's 3 hours and 16
Yeah.
minutes. That's
We
a
we
great
went through a
place
lot
to
of
call it.
topics.
Yeah, we went through a lot actually. There's only 2 topics left.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we could save that for like a future episode.
Yeah.
Maybe the
You
next
guys
one.
want to do one? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, we do not.
5:56 a.m.
All right, everybody. That is our wrap. We are coming back hopefully in 2 weeks. Talk about another round of stuff. Hopefully, we'll start with the next 2 topics. That we were going to end with this one. I think that one's actually we've been waiting for that for maybe like 8
One
weeks.
topic is one I suggested forever ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
We were
like
supposed
this
to
is
do
a topic that we've had on our list since like beginning of October.
Yeah, but we got this next time.
Okay.
We got this.
Sure.
All right. On that note, everybody, my name is Royal Dude Lorenzo. I am the Blue Squid here in the Inkling Brothers podcast, and I appreciate you guys coming through. I am thankful for you guys. Happy Thanksgiving, and
It's not Thanksgiving.
and happy holidays in case we don't get to do another one of these. And happy.
I
New
think we
Year.
can do another.
We probably will, but Happy New Year
Maybe.
just in case. Or if you die in the next 2 weeks, we'll Happy New Year.
Just to be sure.
Wow.
Yeah. My name is Ray, also known as Meatloaf Man. I'm the Purple Squid here on the Inkling Bros podcast. And quick shout out, this episode will probably be out by the time it's out. So, Death Battle's 10th anniversary is next week. So first of all, happy birthday to Death Battle, 10 years.
Wow.
But also, we at Crossover X are releasing a Goku vs. Superman reanimated collab that will be going up on Monday, the 7th of December. So please go check that out. We had a lot of people participate in that. And everyone did like a really great job. It was cool. going through all the submissions, and we're working really hard on editing that right now. It's going to be really great. So I appreciate if you guys go check that out if and when it's out. So yeah, and last but not least.
Oh yeah, I'm Eric.
And that is us.
All right, everyone. Hope you don't die in the next few weeks. Enjoy.
Jesus Christ. Please stay safe.
Please
Wear a
stay
mask.
safe. Wear a
Wash your
mask.
hands and all that.
If the vaccine comes out, you can take it.
We'll get out of
fucking
this
take
eventually.
it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, seriously, take your vaccines. Oh yeah, get a flu shot too. All right, everybody. My name is Royal Dude Lorenzo. I am the Blue Squid here on the Inkling Brothers podcast, and I'm calling it here. See you guys next time.
Bye.
See ya.
Stay safe.